We are live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, world. Welcome to Bantu TV. And like any other Sunday, what's today? September the 8th, 2024. We're live and direct. Here I am. My name is Kalinda Shichinda, broadcasting out of the Hoosier state of Indiana, and of course the city is Indianapolis. So we promise to have one of the most explosive. I'm kidding. We have our beloved President PS live and direct. So actually, if you're doing Vuvuzela Zuko and our beloved PS, let's go.
Yes, let's go, guys. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us uh, on this lovely day. It's a lovely day outside. It's pretty sunny today. Last 2 days it was raining. This is Chanda Chilka coming all the way, or broadcasting live all the way from Ontario, Canada. We invite everybody to join us and have a discussion and very important topics from the motherland, of course. So many things have happened during the week. I know everybody has some 1 or 2 cents to put up, but thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And we welcome you to our show, Bantu TV, where anybody and everyone can participate by following the link. And also, if you're shy to be on screen, you can also just put up comments, and your comments, of course, will be highlighted, and we can have a great conversation and discuss the way forward in today's world. Like I said, Chanda Chilukya from Ontario, Canada, and of course, we welcome you here. To you, Vakalinda.
Oh, Kazia, please come
Okay.
and do your vuvuzelas.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Kazia Chanda. I was former permanent secretary, Ministry of Labor and Social Security, former labor commissioner, now resident in the New Brunswick, Canada. And that's where I'm having this great conversation with these colleagues. As you know, on this platform, I'm the only one with the experience of working in government for so many years. Yes, so really, I'm taking you to task about what happened in the last government, and I also take my colleagues to task on what is happening in the current government. Thank you very much, and let's have a great conversation.
Right, right. Let's do have a great conversation. So anyway, I'm you know, actually, yeah, you take the lead on this one. I mean, we're starting with the Chinese with the presidential visit to China, and we know what
Mm.
happened there. So I'm about. I'll be in the background, but I have to take a Zoom. A little Zoom call.
Mhm. Okay.
So I'll join you guys. So just uh just go on. I'm not abandoning the ship. I just have to take this Zoom call. It came last minute. Much traffic we do have my side hustles and everything else.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the Democrats are calling, so I have to answer to the Democrats, okay? But they are very quick, so I'll be right back. Just continue.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the president, of course, went to China. Very, very important trip, and he was there for about a week. And of course, we saw, what was happening on the internet. When he visited many major companies, uh, various places that he visited, companies that he would love to partner with, and for them to come and inject their, expertise or invest in Zambia. So one, we have what do we have? We have the main reasons was he went there for, of course, trying to find a solution for, of course, the energy crisis that the current government is or the country is having right now, which is a big, big, big problem. And secondly, also of course, we all know that we were hit by the drought. So all these things, he went there. He was trying to source out. Of course, we saw a lot of MOUs being signed, and before he even met, the president of China, the opposition was already there, saying, "Oh, he's gone to China, but he hasn't even met, the president of China." Like the president goes there for specific reasons, and obviously he knew that he was going to meet him, but you just don't go there for one reason, just to go and shake hands, and just to show that you've shaken hands with the president of China. You go in and try to, you know, get as much, out of the time he was there for a week, get as much out of China as you can in terms of business opportunities, investment opportunities, all these big teasing issues that are, affecting Zambia. So I was so shocked. Like I was like, why is the opposition thinking like that? I mean, they don't have really something else to say or talk about aside from, oh, he hasn't met the president of China. So to me, that was something that bothered me, and I was thinking to myself now. But look at what the whole trip has resulted in. Okay, so very soon, yeah, people are crying about the energy crisis. Big corporations will be coming to invest in Zambia in that sector, as well as a huge opportunity again in terms of agriculture. He visited one province where they specialize in agriculture and cotton growing, which is a major key factor when we open Mulungushi textiles. We need to learn the latest trends in how people are doing the agriculture right now. Because obviously, we all know like Mulungushi textiles has been closed for like over a decade, and nothing has been happening. So, meaning that the cotton industry in Zambia shrank. So, how can we revamp it? So, he went there, he met with the experts. Now they'll be coming in the country now to share that knowledge, teach the indigenous Zambians on the modern ways in which to grow these crops, and so on and so forth. So to me, I'll touch on it like that. Uh, uh, but I would like to welcome Rogers. Rogers, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Maybe if you want to say one or two words and before Bakazia comes in, Rogers, or he's run away. Bakazia, what's your thinking on the trip, the China trip? What's your thought? What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, my thoughts really are that there's nothing new about a president visiting any country. I have worked in government for presidents go for those bilateral kind of visitations, and they sign agreements, and they commit the government to many things that are futuristic. My thing is that you see the opposition have a right to actually question the presidential visits in any manner, anyway, because that's the nature of our democracy. They will question you, and you have to explain to the country everything that you do, because those are the checks and balances that are there. Whether the president or whether the current government likes it or not, the opposition have that right and mandate, and they must be allowed to actually do that. The only thing that the government has to do is to give an explanation, because they're using public resources. When you use public resources, you owe an explanation to the people that are financing. If you use private resources, then you don't owe anyone an explanation, even if they are upset about something, because those are private arrangements. So when he was going there representing all of us, and we have a right to actually criticize him for if we believe he's making trips that we are not going to use anything, or if he trips that we are questioning. So it is up to him to clarify where he has been. On the issues of on the issues of Bagalinda, okay, on the issues of of signing, I'm strongly I still want to a response. Why are
Mm,
we still exporting power?
okay.
Because that question, nobody answers it. It is people skate around it. We can sign 200 agreements, but for now, why have
Uh-huh.
we
Why?
continued exporting power at the expense of the Zambians? You see, right now, the barber shops are killed completely. The saloons completely killed. People that sell popcorns on the roadside killed. Welders killed. Buseko market killed. Everything. We have taken our people into doldrums. And these are the people that paid for the power we're exporting. Why are we exporting power?
Hmm. Okay, let me tackle that question, Ramachandra. See, here's what we need to understand. When the UPND government came into power, they had found all these agreements that the previous government did with our neighboring countries to export. And you all know that there's an agreement already in place where people you can be able to export electricity to one another. There's that in place. Now, the government was thinking, why should we stop right now and say, okay, we won't be supplying you power no more? Okay, despite being hit by all these by the drought situation and energy crisis, the government has made a decision to say, let's still hang on into this relationship anyway, even if we're shortchanged or we're short in electricity. But let's agree and sacrifice a little bit, because this is not a permanent thing. This will be a thing of the past. That's why you're seeing the president moving up and down, going to China, going everywhere. Now, imagine this: if the roads are going to be turned, in fact, very soon, like I said, this will be a thing of the past. Then we go back to the same people. We said, okay, we canceled the contracts. We don't want you to. We're not going to supply you energy. And then we come back now with that enough energy to supply. And then we say, oh, what do you think they're going to say? They'll say, oh, you guys, when we needed the power, you cut off that power. And then now you want to come and ask to buy from you. So that relationship, business arrangement needs to still continue, because Zambia very soon will be the major exporter of power in sub-Sahara. Believe it or not. Now, Former Baba Mwachilanda, he talked about Tama Babas. I don't know if you read the news. As we are speaking, generators are being installed in all major markets and hospitals. Right now, I think it's 2 hours ago, I was just watching, they just installed the city market. It have been stored, I think it's Nyumbayanga. Very soon, various points and places, generators are coming in the country. They've already ordered them. So when it comes to the markets, the Babamen that you're talking about, they are going to be covered, because now all these places will have generators. Aside from generators, like I said, this trip was just not a trip like you just went there for nothing. The short-term measures is this: they have engaged a, a solar plant company that's going to come and install for short measures.
Ratan, my question was simple. So
Nini
according to
Asukagani?
what you've explained is the reason why power has been continued to be exported.
That's one of the reasons, yes, because we have to maintain the business relationship.
Okay. So the business relationship that the current government has is at the expense of the Zambian people, isn't it?
No, I mean everything. You see, I mean, there's no sweet without sweat.
Okay. So the
Okay,
switch now
there's no.
is for the foreigners, and the Zambians must be the one to sweat, isn't it? So the
For
switch
short
now
period.
is going
It,
out,
it,
and our
it's
people
a
must
short.
sweat.
It's a short period of time, Mashida.
And
This
that's
is not
me
going.
now. I see. I'm agreeing with
I'm not saying this is going to be
you.
forever.
Yeah, but you see, that's what I'm saying. That so if for foreigners around there, we must sweat.
Mm,
While the sweet
mm,
is in Namibia, while the sweet is in our sweet is taken to Namibia to enjoy, and we are sweating to give them the sweet. The sweet. If we
mm.
sweet is Namibia, if we are not eating from our sweat, mind you, those power stations are a sweat for the Zambians. The sweat that comes from there must first benefit Zambians before they benefit anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Mulera and if Bombay is total negligence. You cannot place business over the lives of people. If you see, it's not a private entity. Public service is not private entity. It works for public good, not for individual good. You can't go and start buying your generators to come and supply. Why can't you buy generators and start exporting the power from the generators and let the hydropower that you have be given to our people so that you maintain the relationship? Get those generators. Give those people that you are those that are supposed to generate power. Mwasenda majenzi, wote majenzi kuishi today. Mwapanga station, mwaleta supply now for export, so that our Zambian people can have 24 hours service in terms of power. While on this one is a fail. You need to do much better. That is not how we treat the nationals. I'm telling you, this thing will come and bite you in the future. You will see. You can't be taking away power and what? No, we are trying to that's smoke screening. You can't be doing things like that. And yet you are selling power. You know, I want to I'm a free gentleman. How can you be proud that you're selling the government people like that? Now, but you know, we cannot continue on this path. I think everybody understands, even where everybody in Zambia right now, that is the problem. They are saying, stop selling power. Another density. Hell, you make power and sell from the density. So that you will see the economic value of what you are selling and vis-a-vis the inputs that will come. Why is it that those countries do not got the same genesis and you're getting the power? It's because you're giving them for cheap. Why should they give Gabani? But it's much but the if way. You can only give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. Every member of ours knows that we are in a crisis. Kariba da Bromba to Alaisa no to Shigi. Now they should be crisis. Everybody knows. Our neighbors know. And any neighbor that will come and say, oh man, they don't mean well now. We don't need that kind of relationship with that person. Because that relationship is two-sided. We can't be, we cannot be taken right like this. No. It's frustrating for the Zambians.
Yeah, okay, yes, it is frustrating. Well, I agree with you. It is frustrating for the Zambians. But at the end of the day, the Zambian government is not just folding their hands and saying, "Ah, no, no, no. They are working on solutions. Like I said, very soon, all major markets are going to be installed with AMA generators. Very soon, all markets will have AMA solar rooftops, including AMA hospitals and schools and universities. So all these things are going to come into fruition. This issue of load shedding, yes, it's big, it's huge, and it's affecting Mwina Zambia. There's nobody who can say that it's a good thing. There's nobody who's clapping. Okay, but
it's self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. How is it self-inflicted?
We are saying we are giving people our resources.
No, that's not
Self-inflicted.
the problem. Is the drought, Bakazia. Infla tayari located. Infla
tayari
located.
Yes, and what not which if you're quite infla tayari. And if you expect that you're going to have the normal supply that we have when infla tayari. It's not right. We agree that. But you cannot give us 12 hours, 12 hours shading. You know, I'm going to summarize if you're looking. And then you come and tell us to say, no, there's nothing we can do, it's a drought. No, come on. And meanwhile, at the backdrop of that, you said if you had drought, it's not that, it's a leadership thing. That is what you have said in the past. That's what you guys said. It is a leadership thing. It's not about drought in Kanima. Okay, let's forget about that. That was campaign. People were being cheated in that manner. Now we are coming to the realities of it now. The reality is that you cannot continue exporting power at the expense of Zambia. You see, and what is frustrating is when you try to justify the wrong things that you're doing, but that is not right.
Yo, okay, Iriashiri, Ndalawandi, I can tell you one thing. We can talk and talk and talk about this issue because One, lafuna chilalanda. This thing affects each and every Zambian. Yes, exporting. I mean, there are certain obligations that
takuli
you can.
takuli Bachanda.
Kwali bama obligate. Kwali signisha anyabade.
Kuti mwakansa no obligations because tamukwete. There's nowhere where it is that you can put mwalai payabana bedu so that mupele banepa bati takwa kwepyo. You cannot feed another family. You will never feed another family before you feed yours. No matter what, you will first feed your family and then look at another one. Period. There's no two ways about it. That is why you come to govern the country. Your first priority is the people that are under you. The vulnerable people, the people that are paying you, the people that you promise to save. That is your first priority. If you miss that priority, Mr. You can't justify it. You cannot feed. If example is once upon a time. In a monondi, I'm never feeding my idea. One person of my class, go and pay what is outside. I'm not going to do that. So you for that's what you're doing. It's not right. And when people
However,
go to Waikata, Waikata, 12 days, no bail. It's now people. Law and protest, you know, my family. 12 days, ah, you see, I don't like state people. Take any other to win.
so Mwalanda finger, Mwalanda malai to exporting. That's one major thing I'm concerned about. You know, and then Mwalanda na right over vacation.
Yeah, but straight one like a protest. Mwalonga 12 days, no bail, no working of police. Now they have to apply for habeas corpus. But you know, the president on the floor of the house, what did he say? Ngamuhaika 10 hours, quality for 8 hours. If it's available, what have they done? Zero.
Okay, so now who's to blame?
Nothing.
Who's to blame? Who's to blame? What if they don't? Because the thing if it's that we don't know in the background, maybe they don't meet the bail conditions. Tapali abakuba saji nama boss. Fingi.
This station they are there. What are you telling us? You know, who to pick up after Kuawaka? Let's just do the right things. The things that UPND was running at the backdrop of rule of law, proper rule of law. The president has been preaching the rule of law in his speech. And then someone is not observing his rule of law and is left in the office. Why doesn't he care? The people are not observing the rule of law. So that for example, was it to but Uriah is working against the president and the president has killed him. Zero. There are no consequences with the entire police. They can pick you, abduct you, jail you, nothing happens to them. And these are the people, you will be sorted out in the because the president is clear. I am not involved. I am not involved. So if you are not involved, it means you who is doing it, you are breaking the law at your own risk.
Okay, so but we don't know. Me, I cannot blame the police because, like I said, we know why they've been kept that long. Because
but because you see,
in most cases, no, in most cases, if it's chitika, I've seen this happen before. Mwala sanga tu muntu kanshika let's meet a bail conditions. Okay, fine, you can without or whatever. Meeting.
The civil societies in Zambia around them interest groups. They are there with the money, with the sureties to get those people out, but they've not been given them. It's a bitterness.
No, let's forge ahead. I think
we can forge ahead, but that is not
that issue will obviously hear very soon from relevant authorities. They will update us and tell us why that is so, and everybody will know the reason. But like I said, let's talk about the big, huge achievement that has come out of China. You know, China is we all know that it's one of the leading economies of the world, and if we don't take a leaf or take advantage of the good relationship that China and Zambia have had for the last 6 years, this is the time. If not, I mean, we should have taken advantage yesterday because uko monafie Like you said, I'm a trips. Every president has made these trips, but it's the quality of the trips,
All the
and
quality.
it's what you bring back from that trip. Okay, not to be a mkulomba fe waya fe wale lomba. Kuleta nama solutions.
In
Omwe
my
but
in
na
my
president I'm like, "Yeah, but yes, this makes sense." You
Baba,
see?
in my tour of duty, there has been no president who went and just went to pick and people yafi. There has been no one, including the
Yeah, yeah,
current.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There has
Twaliompwa
been no
ama
one
stories,
because
ama stories twaliompwa
I have seen
sana.
cooked up
Teyauvi.
stories. You see, when you
First
cook up,
hand
anyone can cook
information
up a
mdala
story.
na mdala, listen, I had the first hand information.
Icona,
Umuntu
better love you.
uwalenda na bena. Uwalenda na bena.
Owabu,
Vale
I don't
ba ala chalelila. Chalelila.
let me tell you right now. Umuntu okay, supplement that never hate his land, and also this is what is a liar. That guy should be disgusted. It's just meaning something else. Abantu
Yalishibika mdala. Ili yashiri yalishika. Bengi sana kwa bamona noko bamona. Mdala vale booking ama limousine. It was a party.
there is no evidence of that. There has been no evidence of that limousine being booked other than creation. This was
Yani. Tebu fi mdala wandi. These things are coming from the people. Over Mwalesta. Because you used to move, you forget that you used to move Namakadas.
Today, what do you mean?
Yes. But Namakadas, they were enjoying and they were. Echo chava kalipia nomba.
Banani?
Namakadas.
Eh.
Chali bakalipa. So
Namakadas
akanomba
banani?
Namakadas baba PF. Chali
Namakadas
bakalipa kavale.
banani?
Ah, we, if I was this president,
What
Ali
do you mean when I let's not
yes,
this public forum. I think we can do better to discuss the issue. But when we want to go personal on these matters, we can.
How it's about 10 person. I mean, this is in public. This is in public domain.
Man, the president went and brought the MAUs. I tell you, some of the content of the MAUs have been already that dealt with. Maybe it's just enhancing it. Then we can have that conversation. But the couple that no president, president, and I must be very clear with you. There is no president who goes to office to make his people suffer. From Kaunda to President HH. There is no president who wakes up every morning after I'm going to make my people suffer. Some of the things go beyond it. The mama deal with my minister, about cadres, the ones that want to go to tell the truth, but to appease the president. They want to create a rift. I'm a president. The want to Zambia, I'm a president. Because the schedules are very tight. But look at how we appreciate it. We just insult, we just do stuff. And we have created the culture of now just insulting our leaders, just vanishing our leaders. Even when the Mulera and the Panda, it's like it's a cat and dogs kind of life in Zambia. Why have we chosen this path? And it is only affects Zambia. It has never affected any foreign. I'm a foreigner as we praise them. We want to worship them. They are all one way. There are ways to corrupt individuals in our country. Ways to corrupt to the core. Mama multinational that. But who do we jail? Umuntu achenda kasopo, wapela nature 65 kwacha, moyambo 55 kwacha. These are the things that are happening. We must change our mindset. But to change your mindset, even President HH is having the same wrath after he leaves office. No one will appreciate it. And it's this time that we must change. And be positive. Be positive. If your president says something and you see, okay, this is how we see. But it's like in Zambia now. Castigate whatever the person is saying. Even if someone suggests what is good, even if not bring it up.
Shall if it's small for Malanda by opposition, no problem. Shall for po. Now we show problem here, Abapo. Now we show the problem here, Abapo. Oh, you shukuru lungu. It goes on the. No, look, you're bringing the issues, and I'm trying to tell you why.
Me, I'm avoiding to talk about the current president. I can also talk about him.
No.
The way you're talking about him.
Okay, Monen.
But unless you want
Because
us to go that route.
no, we have to see what's what you need to solve Mount Wapona and the president. Waima, that I'm Pokulanda Tineshi Tovero, like that kind of language. It's not a language,
Please,
coming from a head of state. You can never hear something like that.
If I need to start attacking the current president in the manner we think that
Okay.
This is a public forum.
Yeah.
I can do that very well. With that,
but because he's brilliant and he's working very, very hard.
You are
so here's what we do. Now wait, look at me. Okay, so let's move ahead, Ndala. Let's move ahead.
Oh, him.
Ataverekala bali ma politics.
He has a right to have been politics. And there's a right to express what he thinks about anything. This is his right. And we can't grab his rights because
okay. So Iria Malaiti, it will be a thing of it's a thing of the past.
It's not a thing of the past. Right now, there's not really. So it's not a thing of the past. Right now, so
yeah,
it's a thing of the past.
But how different would it have been even if the roles were 10?
We would have been running through
the same problem.
We would not have exported power.
Nobody can read.
I mean, I'm going to say what would have happened. So I'm telling you what would have happened.
So the good part is this: ZESCO finally has signed the partnership agreement na China Power. So, but China Power will now help ZESCO reduce the stress over ZESCO. But ZESCO, I think, me personally, what I think is ZESCO, they have not managed that institution. So the engineers have ZESCO, really. I think they have not managed that institution properly. Because the ZESCO, it was built with with an anticipation of only handling a population, a certain amount of population. The time it was the organization was built, but ZESCO throughout all these years has never thought to say, what's going to happen? All these things that we rely on, which is hydro, of course. They've always just relied on Kariba Dam. They were not on their feet. So me, I would highly blame it on ZESCO management, the engineers who are employed there. Nobody can blame it. Because company for a company to work, it needs people with futuristic thinking. People who are thinking 50 years from now, where will ZESCO be? Okay, so we need to bring in people with specialized skills.
You see,
well, let's welcome Vamacha Vaisa.
Vamacha Moisi.
Vatanda vanandi mulishani vonse vaviri na vamutinta. Maybe na like cooling and shishi webune maybe na like kafi and shishi webune.
Wakazia na wapurwa sana. Na wapurwa chine.
Bwana na eve ni muntu. Bwana na eve ni muntu. Umfweni. Bwana na eve ni muntu kuti afulwa. Ichiri pobati afuira kulinga. Na like ala na banani. Alalanda knife number. He just has to. Anyway, I'm welcome.
Yeah. So your thoughts before before you counteract what Machanda Machina has been saying, your thoughts on the recent trip of the president to China. What do you think? Are we going to see fruits out of that trip? Was it a wasted trip? Is it something that's, like the opposition are saying that it's just a waste of taxpayers' money and time? So, what are your thoughts?
China, no country can do without China. In my opening statement, I would say that. And no country can do without China. Are we together there?
Agreed. Nobody has ever refused that.
Yes. Then Chinese are businessmen. They will give us what we ask for, depending on what we go there with. If we go there with $10, they'll give us something worth $10. If we go there with $50 and we tell them we want a $50 thing, they'll give us $50 thing. If we go there to say we need power, that should be reliable, that should be supplied throughout the country, they'll give us that. If we tell them we need anything, Chinese can give you. What they just don't give is maybe the quality depends on what you pay them. Like they can make a road for $10 million. Same road, they can make it for $50 million. It depends with the time it will last. Chinese will certainly give us what we want. And the goodness is, Ateka, Thailand nawa kushana, businessman, he just went on a serious trip. There were no dancers, no what if no, nothing.
Yes.
So for me,
that's what I was saying. I agree on
for me, this man, the Chinese cannot just call you again for nothing. They've seen potential, they've seen business. You can do business with them. But like one person said in the previous government, Alexander Chikwanda, Chinese, they like, may he so rest in peace, Chinese are crooks. He admitted that. They can come with one thing here, or they will demonstrate something in China, the way it can work, but when they bring it to Zambia, they will bring a low-grade thing. So we have to be very careful with the Chinese, but certainly they will move us something. Jeans twitch tire. A jeans made in China comes to Zambia, comes to Tanzania, different grade, A grade, B grade, C. Here in Britain, some of the strongest products are from China. But back in my home country, some of the useless products are from China. Where do they put us? I yield.
You see,
that is actually a very good observation. Before you come in, Wakazia, Vadani is here. Let's welcome Vadani. Vadani, welcome to the show. I don't know if you're still.
Yes. I'm here.
Yeah, you're still enjoying the nice weather.
No, not really.
he's fishing.
Tamliku Beach.
I was just.
Loba.
Yeah, no. You need to invite me there. Me, I like water.
They don't catch the fish. They catch it and admire it and throw it back.
Listen, they eat what they can. What they can't, they can.
What they can't, they can.
Yes. They eat what they can. What they can't, they can. Vachandalondole na mwitsungucho.
How's that team?
They eat what they can. What they can't, they can.
Because yesterday, the other week when I went fishing, I caught a fish, a nice big, sized, and the same size was going for $20 in a shop. The same size, so I can choose to go and buy because it's just cleaned. Bafumishe kushama scales na magills, chapa wabika na mchinani, wabika na papuriza. I can pay $20 for it, or I can catch it that very easily from the river. So what is it? And then do it clean it myself.
It has to be. You have to know what it has been eating. If you
Yes,
don't know what it has been eating, you don't.
Yeah, but you see, in where I live here, I live in New Brunswick. It's the most environmental friendly province in the whole of Canada. Because if you look at the St. John River, there is no industry that is there. They are very strict. So any fish that is caught in St. John River is okay.
That's good. That's good to
Yeah.
hear. Here,
Because
Kuno,
people are so, oh my goodness, guys, we have, if you
New Brunswick,
for Java, in fact, it is good. You think it's good? You remember I stayed in Ontario, so I know what Ontario can do. Yeah, in fact, that is the best that we do. That's why even in terms of health statistics, Ontario Capital are in the garbage. We are very healthy here.
But Danny, we've been discussing about the China trip.
Oh yeah.
And what has that yielded? What does it mean for the Zambians? Was that trip a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money, like my opposition Valilanda?
No.
He spent about a week in China. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that this is great. I know it is a blessing in disguise in the sense that load shedding and the drought. Without a drought, I think some of these programs wouldn't have been followed up at this rate. But now with a drought, severe drought, really, this is the most severe drought in my recollection, where the Zambezi River, I've got a cousin that lives near the Zambezi and Kafue River floods in Namwala. Basically, there are islands of water now in the Zambezi and Kafue River. It's not flowing anymore. It's very sad. So just stopped actual flowing of water. They are just islands now. The hippos and all these, they're just so. This situation has sort of made us wake up as Zambians to say, you know what? Hydropower supply can never be reliable because of the weather, which is becoming unpredictable. So I think it's a good thing, and the Chinese people, I can assure you, the Chinese government are gonna, grab this opportunity to invest in our country as quickly as possible, and I think it's a good thing. So I know the opposition are saying these type of things because, I'll just be honest, they think they wish it were them in power right now.
Oh my goodness!
Because they will have made millions and millions of dollars out of this. So it is just them talking because they are just looking at this opportunity to say, oh my God, we wish we were in power. Just imagine PF being in power and having this type of thing. They would have just stolen so much money. It was going to be open stealing opportunity. Anyway, so fortunately, God answered our prayers in 2021. We don't have PFs in power. And my sister is telling me, I was talking to my sister this morning, Zesco has started installing these solar things in Kabwata. They have started today as we speak.
Yes.
They're giving there's some residents, there will be like distribution centers whereby Inga and Daimo Babi come solar. Then one line here, Musebo, it will be supplied by this centrally located house, which is going to have solar panels. So it is starting and it's going really, really fast. It's going to happen, and it's happening right now. I know in Kawata, I talked to my sister. They have started installing those things, Vazesco, which is a good thing. So, yeah, it's a good thing, and I think the opposition are just wishing they were in power but it's good for our country. I know it's going to take time
Mm.
to actually. It will take time. It will take time, but
Yeah.
eventually we're going to have an alternative to hydropower. That's all I can say.
I
Fantastic.
was telling,
That's
I was
fantastic.
discussing what because we've just gone round the circle, so that I should be able to bring also Ladan and Awamacha into the loop of what I was telling you. For me, I was telling what I have a big problem where you are still exporting power. I have a very big problem. You cannot be exporting power under the current state of things. We are sweating and we are giving power to Namibia and other countries. Why are we doing it? Why? Now we go and buy genset to start giving to our people. Why can't we buy genset to start supplying for export? If genset was cheap to do power generation, those countries were exporting to them bought genset and supplied their own people. Now we are just messing. We've messed up the small scale, medium and small scale industry. Messed up, completely killed. Barbershop, what? Completely done. Now, after we've killed him, then now we started, let's now go and buy gensets. And now we're starting now to reconnect. Something we should have done before we started selling out power. Because if we had done this, then we start to export power. It makes sense. Now, first of all, it's summarized. The industry, let's focus on them now. Why didn't you think about focusing on them before you started selling out power? Why have you continued selling out power when people complain about it? It is not right. It is not fair. You cannot feed the most dangerous person is the PhD government. It's not even the government. It is a this president who is not ready to tell the government the truth. They are the worst dangerous people of this government is represented. Because I'm sure I haven't read everything. Muchinji. Let's tell this government the right thing so that when I say things to Alanda Dijama effects, this is where we take them. These are damages that we shouldn't be doing. We are not in damage control. Why should we? We didn't have planners. We didn't foresee that the drought was going to happen. The studies are there that this drought was projected a long time ago. Why didn't we plan around this? Because this plan that we are talking about is very good plans, extremely good. But when you're not done,
Wakazia, a point of interjection. Wakazia, if there's an agreement of supplying power between country and country,
yes,
which is put in written,
yes,
what is the opposite? What does it take to abrogate that agreement?
You will not just wake up and say, boom, that would be an abrogation.
Okay.
Any agreement like that, where you can terminate that agreement on certain circumstances. And one of them, the act of God. Drought. You cannot continue supplying. Because first of all, it's the national need.
At first, Shani.
Force majeure.
Okay. No, some of us are not learned. Some of us are not learned. Can you explain on that one very well?
If you're an act of God.
Okay.
It is bombed. Whereby to build that will take another 30 years. Am I right? In the entire country, you have a blackout. You're not going to export them from Kafue Hydro because an act of God has happened in the country. Therefore, you need to terminate that agreement.
Okay.
So that you supply your own fish before the number of export. No, but
so all agreements have that clause.
Things are not dependent on you. Nature has got effect. Guys, you can only give what you have. You are not going to starve your children. You cannot have 20 hours of load shedding and say, no, because for the agreement. The people that suffered for that power are the Zambians. Why are we? This
And
was
there,
the
and Mr. Kazia, can I support you on that one?
yeah.
Today I'm changing. You know, Zambia during the liberation wars of Southern Africa suffered enough. And now we are suffering again by helping those people we helped. Are they helping us in any way? Mwilande chobachanda na imu. Atitabatasha.
This time that they are building their economies. Remember industries they were in I used to not be saying. There's most of Baba so Baba and then they export to us. Because now we can't make anything. So they make the products and they export to us. Does it make sense?
I'd like to hear from Danny. Danny, can you just chip in and answer Kazia's question on terms of why are we still exporting?
Okay. All right. First of all of us here don't know the details of those memorandum of understanding. I mean, them all.
You don't know. I do know.
Force majeure.
No. Let me talk. Let you talk.
Yeah, but don't tell all of us. You don't know me. I know.
Okay. So
There was a copy.
Okay. Send us a copy.
I will.
The MOUs which were signed between Zambia and these countries we're exporting to. We don't know the fine details. To me, my leaders right now, they care for Zambia more than anyone else. There's no way. There's no way.
100%.
I'm telling you.
100%.
Let me continue talking, Ibachanda. Yes, there's no way my leaders at the moment can say, I'm not going to provide people in Pulungu electricity, instead I'll send it to Congo. There's no way. There must be something, there must be a clause which is very, very binding to that agreement. That's my speculation. I don't have the details, but to be honest, there's no way we can cut power to the Kawata Chilenje people and say, no, forget about this. Let's send it to Congo. No, there must be something. And unless I see that MOU, send it to me, as you have said you have it. Send it to me. Let me read it.
If I had it, I wouldn't send. Even if I had it, by the way, that's it. That's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most common sense, a memorandum of understanding for the government is not a what can I say? It's not a secret document. We can actually get it. If you want, some of us can get it even within an hour. I can send to all of you and see what it is. Okay? And we can ask people. We can ask Victor Mapani. We have his number. We have everything. We can talk to him right now. The memorandum of understanding must be binding to let go. That's my speculation. Anyway, we don't have this document as of now, but that's what I feel. There's no way our politicians can.
That's what they've done. But then if you know there is no way, that's what they've done.
No, Rakazia, Monen, you've stressed that point. We know that. And there's no way, like I'm just saying, like, look, just like what Danny's saying, there's no way the current government,
no way our government
deliberately
deliberately
export power when it is needed. But what I'm saying is this, like, we don't have all the details, but my personal opinion, before Danny and Ramacha came in, I told you, look, this issue, me looking at it on a business angle, I'm thinking we need to maintain that good relationship country to country. Okay? So we need to maintain that relationship. Now, imagine this, because this issue here, Malaiti, it will be a thing of the past. Very soon, Zambia will be the largest exporter of power. Now, imagine if we say to those guys, now we've got enough power, then we go to them to say, We need to export power to your country. They will refuse. They say, "Ah, you guys, you cut us off. Okay, when we
That's
have a
another
binding
possibility.
agreement,
You're right.
we have a binding an agreement between country to country, and then you reverse that agreement, you breach that agreement, then you want
That's
to come today to
that's a
say,
possibility. Yes, you are right.
give us some power. You think they're going to buy from Zambia? So, like I was saying, this is just a temporal setback.
Yeah.
There will be Zambia will be smiling soon.
Self-inflicted setback. Self.
I am right now back.
You
I'm
have you
sorry.
guys have
I am
self-inflicted.
back. I am back.
No, no, no. 1 minute, 1 minute, one
No, no,
minute.
no, no,
Imwe,
no, 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 no.
1 minute.
No,
We
no,
are
no, no,
talking.
no, 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 no.
1 minute, one
No,
minute.
no, 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 no.
My hand is up.
Time is up. Here's what we're gonna do. What we're not gonna do is talk over each other. So we're gonna allow one person to talk at a time. If you interject, I will mute the button because remember this goes on a public forum. People want to
Okay.
hear our views, so we
Mm,
can't be, cutting off each other. Let one person speak at a time.
okay.
Okay. And now I don't like to push buttons. I like to let the debate flow. But I've been listening this past few weeks to a lot of our discussions, and this talking over it's just not good for public consumption. I'm sorry. That's the feedback we're getting from our listeners. So we have to respect them because they are who we're here. We are here. I mean, yes, we share our thoughts, but at the end of at it all, we are people that listen to these shows. We need to respect them as well. Okay, I've said enough. So who was speaking?
Mm, I wanted to contribute something just there where they're saying, just now we have no power, but we are exporting. The day we shall have more power to export, and then they say you were very clever at the beginning, we don't need your power. Which
I guess we lost him. All right, who wants to come in next?
Yeah, I
I
think before you came in, Vakalinda, I was just ironing out my point of view.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the main topic was Vakazia's concern or complaint is like, why is Zambia still exporting power when we have a deficit? So to me, like but Danny, we've agreed to say, look, we don't know the fine details of those country to country arrangements that we have. We don't know the document. We don't know. We haven't read it. We don't know exactly why. But it is a binding agreement because I mean, if you've got an agreement, you've got an agreement. Now, if at one point of which this is going to happen, Zambia has access power. How are we going to export it? To those countries that we say we've breached the contract. Because Lakazia says let's forget about those agreements. Let's just cut them off, stop exporting. Let's give power to the people. It sounds good. Face value. I mean, everybody will be happy. I mean, people will be like, oh yeah, 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 we've got power. But what are the long term repercussions that are going to affect our country, our economy, and the government and the people of Zambia? So those relationships need to be maintained. Those relationships need to be built. They need to be kept in the midst of all this. But we're saying is this: the current government is not just holding their hands while this is happening. The, the president was in China for a week. It wasn't a holiday. It was work and work and work and work. Okay, no of man and flying does 100 chefs, 100 maids, and I'm a party to party like we used to see. No, he's made major achievements, and it has yielded to the fact that now we'll be seeing in the local markets rooftops, public institutions, hospitals, schools. They'll have rooftop solar energy that are going to be installed. As we're speaking, generators are being distributed all across the markets. So all those things, all the babas are these, the issues being solved as we're speaking right now. Go on the internet, you see city markets have installed one, and all the marketeers there, they're busy appreciating the government of the day. Because the government understands. The government knows that these are our individuals, our people that brought us into power. Tete tubalekeresha abantu betu. Tete tubapereko a short term, so which is a generator. So ama saloons, if you look at the testimonies, everybody say, no, at least now I'll be able to do this. I'm tulimba. At least now I can do my job because it was taking me a long time. Now I'll be able to do my job at a faster quick because they've installed a generator. That's the waking up. I mean, that's what we want to hear. And that's what we want to see. And even in Zambia, if you look at this, even if we are the short setback, we are now back in home. I mean, things that they are seeing things happening on the ground. Other than we can have complain. No, I yield. So,
Mr.
are you there or
Marshall?
have you gone to another Zoom?
Yeah, no. Mr. Marshall is back. Let him finish his point before
After the match, I would like to come in.
Yes, we'll come to you, Bakazia. Mr. Marsh?
You know,
Yeah, come in now.
I would be very careful with how we handle this issue of being able to supply power to other countries, even when we have nothing ourselves. You know, Amalite tayakwata, there's no storage. Tajisi butala, tayakwata butala. Wakutinga mapanga kyafula, mwasunga, then mukasi export mailo. That business is very tricky. Somehow we have to look foolish. Like we are now supplying power to those countries when we have nothing. At a time when we are going to have excess and want to supply, we can as well tell them, look, now we have excess, we want to supply, you cannot deny us chance to supply to you because we suffered at a time when we were exporting power to you. So buy us the power. Buy the power from us. At least it's only normal that they should feel for us. I don't know ngapire mfike fondera ndakuli bachanda po. Yeah.
Bakazia, before we come in, we have a new entrant. Let's welcome Mr. Lazarus Fuller. Welcome back to the show, sir, and let us know where you're joining us from.
It's a Dr. Fuller.
I'm always, yes, I've spoken to this man before. Is he in Atlanta? Are you in Atlanta, doctor?
Yes. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry
Good to be
you
back.
disappeared and we forgot. My apologies there. All right. Maybe before we come in, let's let Mr. Kazia finish with his thoughts, and then we'll come back to you, Doc.
Vakanin and the
Yes.
people that are here. I have nothing against exporting power. Yes, we can. But I have everything against everything, whereby you subject the country to 20 hours, 17 hours, days of load shedding. You kill the small scale industry because the welders, the work done completely. And then you are exporting power. You are exporting power to neighboring countries. You are making those countries productive. And yet now, because they have killed all these small scale farmers, small scale industries, welders, salons, and everything else, there is so much pressure on the social service. Where are people going to get the money? And then after we do that, where will we empower them? Then they produce and then send it back for us to buy with our power. I'm saying no. All these measures that the government is trying to put across could be used to export power. James said generators that can be bought, whatever number they have, Why don't you use them for exporting the power? So that you keep your children, the nationals in whose assets, the ones that have suffered for this asset, with power. To export power and to continue exporting power in the crisis we are in. It doesn't make sense. I have refused to accept that, and I will not agree to say that it makes sense to do that. There's no country that looks at the interests of another country before theirs are done. Americans are the first. They'll do what? America first. It doesn't matter what you think, where you are. If there is one to give away, it will be not an American to suffer. It will be another person to suffer. An American comes first. A Zambian in this power scenario must be first. If we can only supply to Zambians, and one of our friends who we were to sit down with, I did not say, Rachanda, that we should just walk away and no, it's a question of engagement. Guys, we can only give you what we have. But we don't have to what we give you. What we have is just for the national consumption. There's no country that means well that will say, no, I'm for the friendship. I would not even want to export to that country excess power when we have it, because they're not good. We must just look at our Zambian. On this one, sorry, it's a miss.
All right, because he's spoken. So maybe before Dr. Bulo comes in, so let's just put the numbers out there, okay? Because sometimes when we make sweeping statements like that, it makes it look like there's a more and an anthill, or however you want to call it. So on any given year, okay, ZESCO produces about 3,600 megawatts. I could be wrong with the numbers, but that's where the numbers are in terms of power production. And then the country's needs is about 2,700. Where we are now with the low levels of water at Kariba and everywhere else, ZESCO is only producing about, I believe, if I'm not wrong, I'm quoting these numbers from somewhere, authentic ZESCO themselves, they're only producing about measly 600. That's where we are. So with the exports, when everything was good and dandy, ZESCO was exporting about 530 megawatts. They have since recalled almost most of it. I think the only export that I'm seeing here is about 80 megawatts. Okay, so having laid down the numbers as they stand as of this moment, I will let Mr. Mbolo come in and speak on this issue. Doctor, did I call him Mr. again? I'm sorry, there's another Mbolo.
No, it's fine.
Dr. Mbolo, there's another Mbolo I know. I'm so sorry. Dr. Mbolo, please come in.
Yeah, there are so many. Everybody born in that village just called Mbulo, so there's so many.
Yeah, well, I was raised. My father's best friend was a Mr. Bolo, and his kids and ours are very close. So, so that's
Yeah,
what comes
the
with it.
Bembas add she, so Shimbulo. The Tongas add HA, Hambulo. So
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same. No,
yeah,
means metal.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely this critical issue, of course. I was in Zambia during summer. It's a bit difficult to plan anything because you get home in the evening, it's all dark. So yeah, it's definitely affecting a lot, both at household, industry, everybody. I think it's also a reflection of a maybe lack of foresight on our side. We never foresaw. I mean, there were times in the past when we had power outage. Those some of you old enough to remember. Was it there was one Itesh or one of the dams which was affected? I think that's when Kaunda did, I think, break away from the IMF or something. So there have been times when there have been power outage, but not this extended long. But we never had this foresight that, what happened, especially for these El Nino or climate changes. We never really had a thought of we are so dependent on hydropower. What can happen if there's low rain? It's just like the farmers. We have a lot of farmers who are dependent on rain-fed farming. So what happens if there's lack of rain? So I think we never thought in terms of energy, alternative energy. I think this is probably a wake-up call to start to think of some other alternative, even if we have good rains in the coming seasons or so. But I think it's something to really think through. Can we do thermal? Can we look at solar? Are there other alternatives? I think it's of course at this time some of these solutions are long term. We can't fix the current. We have to just adapt and manage. We can throw stones at each other, but I think the problem is there. So we can think what some immediate solutions and what are some long-term solutions. But of course, I agree with Mr. Chanda, or is it Dr. Chanda? His observations definitely are important to take into consideration. Thank you very much.
Right, Dr. Danny, I haven't heard your thoughts on here. You want to ride on Dr. Mbula's comment? Come in and chime in here.
Yeah, of course. What my friend Lazarus has said here, I agree with him. It's a good wake-up call to me in the sense that I think going forward, Zambia will always have eyes open for such eventualities. I think we're going to be the solution that the government is putting in place right now. I think it's gonna last for. I mean, it's gonna solve the future eventualities like this. I think the solar alternative is being taken very, very seriously now, and I think it's a good thing for the government to seek help from China to come in with their own money. The Zambian government is not going to spend money at the moment, of course. It's not free, but at least we don't have this headache of looking for money to do this, looking for that. They're coming in and just installing these things together with the ZESCO, which is very good. Now, coming to exporting of power, I know the opposition are exaggerating these things to say if they didn't export, we were not going to have load shedding in Zambia. It's not true. Even if we stop exporting, actually right now it's at about 65 megawatt we are exporting. It can't even power Lusaka itself takes more than that. So whether we stop, which is okay, in principle, we can stop exporting everything. Remember, the government has cut down to about 65, 70 megawatts of export. Whether we cut down or not, actually the effect for an ordinary Zambian will not even be seen. Okay? We'll say, okay, we've cut our contracts with these neighboring countries. We will still have a long hours of load shedding in Zambia. It is like a drop in the ocean. All right? So it's something that the opposition are exaggerating. Say if we stop exporting, we are going to have power back. It's not true. The power we're exporting is very, very small. And the government, instead of canceling the whole contract, all the contracts, they have compromised. They've done something good to say, guys, we can imagine from 500, 600 mega, whatever we are exporting, we're now exporting less than 100. It's just a relationship. In business, you don't lose your customers. So I think it's something that we should tell the people that even if we stop exporting our 50 megawatts, whatever, megahertz, whatever, we'll still have load shedding in Zambia. That's the truth. All right. Now, the other thing that I have is I know for whether there's an engineer here or not, there's also this aspect of the export grids in power supply. There's what they call export grids. The grid that we use for our own power within Zambia is different from the grid that we use to supply our neighbors. The lines are different. So if there's a technocrat here, it can advise us. But what I know is that the power grids that we use to export to Congo are not part of the local power grids that we have. There's something that has to be done to divert the power back into our national grid. That's the little knowledge I know. So it's not possible really to say, okay, let's bring all the power from export back into our national grid, because there's a little bit of a technical thing that needs to be tweaked there. All right. So that's all I can say. The power we're exporting is very minimal right now. It will not even make a difference to the local people and all that type of thing. So the good thing is this, and let me just conclude in saying this. The good thing is that our government right now, they are doing everything possible to solve this problem right now. Immediate measures, they're doing it, and long-term measures as well. They are looking into it. That's the good thing about it. I just dread, and I continue saying this, I just dread if we were under the previous government's disaster. I'm telling you, that's my conclusion.
Right. No, let's bring in, because I heard your thought. Let's bring in Lady Sarah. She's here. Also, Lady Sarah, we're talking about the presidential trip and the many power supply agreements or memorandum, the MOUs that he signed in China. Your thoughts there, Lady Sarah?
Hi everyone, how are you doing? Happy Sunday. Yeah, my thoughts, are you able to hear me?
Loud
Yes,
and crystal
yes,
clear.
yes.
Loud and clear.
Vakazia, hi.
Sarah, it's nice to have you.
Yeah.
Why is Vakazia being greeted alone? And
I am
But I
special to
said
Sarah.
hi everyone.
okay,
Vakazia, there is a special thing. I can't wait for him to come in when you mentioned that the previous government.
Yeah, that one, yes, that one was Sarah will come in.
Yeah, so for me, I can just congratulate our president, and also just to say that thank you to China, to the Chinese government to come through and help our country. For now, that's what I can only say. And we just pray that all things go well with this plan. Thank you.
Right, great. Because I give you a minute and a half, and then we need to move on.
I hope you see, for me, what I was, I had this in conversation before, and I think the issue to say, oh, we are just exporting 64, and I'm not saying that if the 64 megawatts were not exported, therefore the power supply would be normal. No, that is not the statement that is coming. I am saying that 64 we need it. That 64 we need it for our people. We don't need that 64 to give it away because we do not have excess power to give up. That is what I'm saying. And you see, to start saying, oh, the previous government, we don't know why. Yes, actually, at the end of the day, you don't know. Because if you knew, probably other things would have happened. And I don't know as well what would have happened. But what I know is that probably power would not have been exported to the level it has been exported. Because at least there, if people cry, the people listen. This government, you don't listen when people are crying. You try to rationalize. And one of the problem of rationalizing is you start to fix things that should be fixed at the planning stage. You know, we knew we were going to have this drought. This drought was projected. And this power deficit was also projected that as we go into 2024, Kariba Dam might even pause. We did not start to work on these matters that are being done now. The gensets, the solar systems within our households, which is good. At least my house in Zambia, I did for so this a long time ago. So it's solar powered, and I also have the grid. So that for me doesn't matter. And I also started using gas. You know, those are some of the things that we must be able to start to have a conversation with our people before. And when the people cry, please let's not decide to say, oh, because it's opposition. The power outage is not about opposition. Whether you're opposition, you still suffer the same things. So let's look at the ways that are going to enhance our government going forward, like they come back now, let's look at the MOUs, how can they be enhanced, what are some of the side things that they might not look at, which may bring a concern, and then we support the decisions that they'll make, rather than political. I submit.
Oh, lovely. But I didn't say because you guys have been talking about this for the longest. I was in a Zoom call with my Democratic colleagues over here.
Team Trump,
We are planning Trump's downfall. So
Team Trump, we're Trump.
we're kicking Trump out. Anyway, here's how I look about. Here's what when I look at power in Zambia. I mean, I was in Zambia, like I always say here, when April, May. I mean, when I was there, I think the first 3 weeks it wasn't that bad, but the week I was coming back, I said to myself, never again. Never again, because it got from 6 hours to 12 hours, and we're heading into 18 hours now. That's as of May. However, I'm looking at our power deficit in this way. And most of you are not here last week. One of my former schoolmates, she's a headmistress in one of the rural schools in Southern Province, and she did give us a very good outlook of what's happening in the rural areas, in as far as what this government is doing in terms of the drought, how people have been, taken care of. There's food for work now. You work 3 days, you get 50 kilograms of maize, and so the people that are complaining about this power are the 42%, because I don't know if people know that ZESCO only services 42% of Zambia's population. And so you have 75% of the population that's living in a rural Zambia that have not seen ZESCO. I can go to my father's sister's house in Chikatende. She doesn't have ZESCO, but she does have solar. The same thing with my mother's village in Lugwalo. He doesn't have ZESCO, he has solar. So the people that are complaining are us people that live in town. The people in rural areas have no qualms about what ZESCO is doing, because they are already 10 miles ahead of us, or 20 miles ahead. So yes, I mean, the science behind it all, like Dr. Danny said earlier, I think when they produce power, the surplus of it has to be sent away, however how minute that is. Because it's like when I go to my mother's village and they make our favorite drink, which is Mr. Masha knows about our favorite drink, made from milk, sour milk. Mabisi, you can only have it for a certain period of time. So if you have 2 containers and your family only handles half a container a day, you have to give the other the other container away. Because if you keep it, because there's no fridge in the village, by the way, you are not going to have that Mabis in 2 days. Even if you want to, before you go, you have diarrhea. I would like to compare that analogy to what's going on at ZESCO. I'm not an engineer, but the literal explanation that I asked from them, that's what I got from it. So yes, 60 now, they're exporting 60 of it. From 530, we have 2,100 deficit. They're only producing a minute 600. So if they are giving away the 60, that still has to be given away, because you can't store electricity. So if you want to talk about this every day without really bringing in the solution, like Bakazia is saying, we're not going anywhere. So again, we have to remember, only 42% of Zambians are affected. The other 75 are not. Now, having said that, shall we move on? to the next topic. Well, actually, what is the next topic? And we only have 20 minutes to take care of those topics, because it took an hour and a half just to talk about Zesco. Oh, yes, my favorite topic of the week. Dora Celia, the former Minister of Information in PF and MMD, I don't know what former ZNBC staffer and you name her. I'm looking forward to read her book, by the way.
Oh,
May the ladies start with the contribution. We want to hear from the ladies first.
My goodness. Well, I call it Dora Zulia's Waterloo moment this week, where she disclosed. I mean, so it's a West known secret at ZNBC, okay? I mean, if you've been in the media side. And this is about where she says the advice she got from her parents is never ever to look in Frank Ambassador Mutubila's way.
oh my God. Was it that bad?
It was Frank Ambassador Mutubila to come out and comment.
Wow.
But Sarah, I want to start with you. Your comment. I mean, we are just gonna make it light for right now. I mean, this Chinese Bali trip just left us a little gang on. But Sarah, you want to come in and comment on that real quick, Lady Sarah? She's probably driving. All right. Back to Luffy. You want to come in?
Well, on this topic, I got no idea, but I'm just thinking to myself, like,
Wadani.
All
the
right.
director.
Talk to Danny. We're moving in real quick.
Dora is our friend. Me, Lazarus, Joseph is our personal friend. So I'm going to be very careful here.
Mm-hmm.
We were at school together. She's a very smart woman, very, very smart, extremely smart. Yeah, she was one of the best in their class at Cambridge. So that book, to me, her being very, very smart, is that I think she threw in some of these things on purpose, okay, to make the book sell, and everyone wants to buy it, okay. I think some of those allegations he's making and all that, there were rumors that were there before the book was published that the ZNBC management, especially the main, were, those days it was known you have to be pretty and beautiful for you to work for ZNBC as a newscaster during the Maureen Kandu times and all that. So it was known around that those guys were, and they were doing some stuff that were questionable. But I think she has put some of these things in her book just to sell, to make us, because you want to stimulate interest in why you should read the book, okay? So otherwise, I think, she's a smart woman, and I think some of those things she's mentioned there are there to sell the book. And I think she will manage to do that because everybody's talking about it now. That's what I can say.
Dr. Bullock, your comment on your former classmate. Is he here still, or did we lose him? I see him. Okay.
Maybe he stepped out of the computer.
Yeah, maybe he has. Bakazia.
Well, Minister Wesu, I think I agree with what Daniel said. I think he threw a lot of other things just to make the book sale and just to stimulate that interest, because once we get everyone talking, then people are more interested to buy the book. I personally am not going to buy it because I know exactly the intention. I wish I didn't know the intention, because you see, when you hear people, address and stuff like that, I think what Daniel said, I definitely agree with you on that. It's just that.
Interesting. Mr.
Okay, I'm back. I was on mute actually.
All right, go ahead, Dr. Bula, and then we'll go to Mr. Marta. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I mean it's always great to have Zambian authors, especially more biographic, to present more of a inspiration to young people. But given some of the baggage that Dora carries, I'd rather she stays quiet. Let's read some books about people can be more inspirational to young people. I think what we need in Zambia is more inspiration than all these, rumor mongering or something. Something you can just
Guru.
okay.
Okay. All right. Who was next? Mr. Maja.
Every book has a plot and setting. That's what I can say. Every book has a plot and a setting, so it qualifies. But when you look at the things that are being revealed, some of them will be useful to. There'll be an insight to those that want to get jobs at ZNBC, or those that did not get jobs at ZNBC, why they didn't get them. Now they will know. It's also coming out in the political scenario, what happens behind the closed doors, where you have her disclose that she was dribbled over the seat. It's difficult. Then on her being smart, I want to concur with what the other doc was saying there. Classmate, Rupia Banda called her smart Dora. The late Rupia Banda, she called her smart Dora. Dora, I think, is smart. Even when she was education minister, yeah, there are certain things that she would say that were making sense. But to assassinate people's characters in this time, I wonder what Frank feels now. Those that are friends to Frank, what Frank point? Is she not being taken to court?
Well, Frank, I think he's lived past that. He's just going to talk about it and move on. Like Lazarus said, it's not really something that you should. There are a lot of things that I was like just hate, like at the Mama Benten, things like that. How can you inspire people by liking Mama Benten and stuff like that? So it's just that.
Yeah, and a lot of things were said about her. It's a lot of things were said about her by the former husband Tisha Polotia. Now, also, when she comes out, man, she could have chosen to do better things.
How are you Wakalinda, this one we can pass. No?
No, yeah, you men can pass, but as women, as somebody who tried to get a job at ZNBC, so I was not really interested. If I wanted, I would have, because for me, I love writing, so really didn't want to be sitting in the camera. But I know what happened there. I have friends that went to
Wakalinda, are you
ZNBC.
confirming that?
I have friends that, yes, I am confirming. So those things happened, So whenever I'll miss a mama, so that's a topic for another day. Let's move on to the next topic. That was just a tiny little Waterloo moment for us. I think the next topic that yes, JJ Banda's mother. I don't know what to call that press conference. I think whoever is advising the Banda family is doing them a disservice. For her to come out on a public forum to suggest that the government has a hand in JJ's disappearance, I think it's just I'm sorry to use this word, but foolishness. She should be the last person to really come out in the public and try to seek sympathy. When we know that JJ Banda's arrest was because of the young man he pissed in his mouth on his allegations and seeking justice. So I think we need to talk about that. I think Mrs. Banda's mother really should have taken her time to advise her son on how to be a better human being than come out and try to politic in this matter. Anyway, let's start with the man, the myth, who doesn't want to say anything about JJ Band. Vakazia, you have the floor.
I think you have heard me talk about how I feel about it. I don't think it's treated properly. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
but that's your opinion, yes?
Yeah, I have already stated that. You see, for me, I don't like the way we want to treat. If JJ is a criminal, if he was a criminal, there was a criminal justice system that tried him. A criminal justice system, and he's still there. There were people who adjudicated on JJ's matter. They are still serving Zambians. They are in those courts of law. If they're the ones that obstructed proper justice, what has happened to them? Nothing, completely. I've not heard anybody, nobody talks about that group that dealt with the JJ Banda case. For it now to go back to the same courts, which area looked at it? Same courts. What has happened to those people? And then what is the responsibility on the person if he accepted that he was going to be paid for? If a person urinates in your mouth and you pay 10,000 and then you accept to go quiet for 5 years, you come back. What kind of documentation is around that case? If JJ, of course, everyone knows it is behaved. But then what do we talk about? Our justice system. The mother is a mother. In Bemba, they say, because she's just crying. This is the son who was gone missing. The son was disappeared. So she can cry to anything. And we must listen and sympathize with her. But again, we shouldn't also go after. You understand? That's a point. You know, you people know this. Once you come up with that, and you know our kids, after a certain age, you have no control over them. No matter how much you think you have, we are no. But now, even the mother, when she is found in the street shooting people, the mother is a different feeling. At least from what I've learned in psychology, the mother is a different touch. So for me, I'm more concerned with what is this process that they have we reviewed it? What have we said about it? Because I've not heard anyone touch that system and the people that are dedicated that to come and tell us why did they rule in the way they do. I would really want to do that. So for me, JJ's matter has not been treated properly.
All right. I think for me, JJ's mother should sit this one out based on what her son has done. Because, I mean, we can also bring the same argument that reporter who tested JJ's piss in his mouth has a mother. Those officers he went to beat in police cells, they have mothers too. So I mean, I mean, she should just sit this one out and let it play out. That's the way I look at it. But Dr. Danny, you want to come in and comment on
Yes,
JJ Banda's mom's press conference this past week? Dr.
no,
Danny?
can I come in?
No, wait until after Dr. Danny can come in. Dr. Danny, you want to come in, please?
Let me about JJ and the fake justice he received in the previous government. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody knew that JJ committed crime in the previous government, but he knew that he had all the connections in the previous government. Yes, it's a known fact. And that justice system you're talking about, or justice system But PS Kazia Chanda is saying, oh, he was already prosecuted. Why are we revisiting this? It is. He didn't go through proper justice system.
That's not what I've said, Vadan.
Or what did you say?
Okay, let me repeat what I said. I said he was taken into a justice system and he came out with the decision from the justice system. What have we done to that group, that group within the justice system that obscured justice? Because as far as this now the new opening is, it is showing that it did not get the proper justice. What led to it not getting a proper justice? Have we heard from the people that were signing that okay now just pay the matter is closed?
All right. Okay.
There was something. What is course of action?
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
All right. To me, if justice, the so-called justice, is not properly done, I think the government has a right to revisit that case and prosecute him properly now.
Good. And then deal with the people that obscured justice.
That is the second phase. That's second phase.
I'm waiting for that. That's why
Yes,
I
just wait for that phase. Okay,
yeah,
so
which will never come.
For now to do what he did, actually there are cases where it's alleged that he basically killed somebody. Somebody lost lives in some of these things. Anyway, so to me, it's all good what the government are doing, revisiting these cases, the Chitotela cases and all that. Those guys were let go.
There you go now.
Because of their, we know that. So the system, no one was interrupting you. So the thing is, let the justice system rerun these cases because we all know they were not properly done under PF. So that's my only comment I can say. Now, there's one more thing I want to say about journalism in our, I know, Wakalinda, you're a journalist. I think the profession has died in our country because these are some of the cases journalists supposed to be questioning either the government or the people that are being prosecuted wrongly or whatever. Nobody's really putting these politicians or judges or whatever on the spot. Nobody's asking journalistic questions, investigative journalism. Nobody. It's just a dead profession right now in our country. You know, the journalists are not doing their job. They are supposed to be helping Zambians answering some of these questions, but nobody's doing it. For example, there's a question we just asked. We were asking ourselves, why are we continuing exporting? Nobody has asked the government that question. The whole community of journalists in Zambia have never asked anybody in government, why are we still exporting what?
They don't answer.
Okay, so that's the thing. We need proper journalism to come back to our country. All right, that's all I can say.
Right, Mr. Marshall, come in.
In Tonga, you cannot. It's uncultured for you to say that your father is a witch. Even when you know very well that your father is the one who killed, who using witchcraft, when it comes to the public, you just have to find a way of defending him. The same with JJ's mother. She feels it as a mother, but she doesn't know what the other women feel. The mother to that journalist whose mouth was watered with the urine. She can't condemn the son. That is out. All she thinks is of my son, my son, my son. She doesn't think otherwise. She was, first of all, ill-advised. Even the system that convened that meeting were not fair. They should have, I don't know whether they even consulted a lawyer to that effect, because you can't come out like that. You just don't. It's uncultured. I yield.
Lady Sarah, we are talking about JJ Banda's mom's press conference where she's accusing the government of behind his fugitive status. Your comment. Okay, Dr. Mbula.
Okay, yeah, this is a very interesting discussion. I think last time I said, I don't know why we spend so much time on JJ Banda, but I think it seems the whole story keeps coming up. So it's good to continue the discussion, hope it will get resolved. But following up my brother's discussion, who say talked about witchcraft, I think this is more like fiction. Did any one of you read those books by Fanyanga Mulikita? I think J.J. Banda can fit in one of those books because what some people have said, if you go like to Eastern Province, they say, Venangwana Pita, you can't touch them because they've gone to Malawi and they've cooked them. So J.J. Banda was cooked in some drum and, like Harry Potter. So it's like, this fictitious character in a fictitious Zambian, novel. Maybe somebody should write something about that. So it can just be a mystery, because I remember the story which Fanyanga wrote. I remember reading where this old man just vanished. Nobody saw where he went. Just walked in the sand and just vanished. So I think that's JJ Band. I think it's more of a fictitious story. We should more focus. I mean, we have the issue of the drought, which is really affecting, every Zambian. It be electricity, be food shortage, be all these every small little industry that depends on electricity. So I think those are more critical issues we should be addressing than talking about JJ Banda. Hopefully, it shows up someday, and the legal system is able to catch up with it. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Right. Right, two of you.
The issue of Georgia Banda, yeah, like, I can, here's what I can just advise the family, the mother really. Just go and ask one of those three wives that was the last person to see her son. She'll tell you where he is. It's as simple as that. Because there was one person who last saw JJ Banda, and it's the wife. So even in investigation, that's where they start from. Who was the last person to see this person? If somebody goes missing, they go to the last person. So the mother should just go and ask for that person. She knows. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, JJ Banda had just come out of an operation. How can he jump all the way? Come on, it was a nice thing. Everybody knows people were involved. Then JJ Banda is out there. Let's ask the family. Them themselves, they know where he really is. But to be honest, I don't think we need to give it much thought or much publicity. Let's deal with real issues. Let's deal with real issues.
Right.
Barbara,
Lady Sarah, once again, before we go to the next topic, which is Lady Sarah, you want to come in? I'm pretty sure you have some very wise words for JJ Bando's mom. Please come in, Lady Sarah. Okay. I guess let's move on. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic, which is. All right. Interesting. Our. I mean, this one can call him Bachanda, top-notch lawyer.
Sister Kalinda.
Oh, we can hear you now. Come in, please.
Okay. Sorry, yeah. When I'm about to go for work in Russia. So now listen, hallucination, it's not hallucination, where the mother is crying. This lady, she knows something about the how far that child can go in being criminal or doing something, So but you see, when somebody is being used, if you hear even Doris Lia, the way Lungu was using, other, means of putting JJ somewhere, this woman, she's being used by these other people like the ECL. Go and talk. Who give you something? You know, yes.
Vasera nampapa.
Vakasia, let Marcella talk. It's a
Okay,
minute.
okay.
So
Go ahead.
bengi abaleba bomfya babamayo balebe bana stress so much baleba bomfya kabile Holland that the government is the one which made JJ disappear. No. Tapali wale ngati JJ actually disappear. Aitabe disappear mlandu wa mfumfundu wa bena ECL. You know, and when I see because the the direction, number kula bomfya banyira bakwa JJ. Come and talk here. You know? That's what I can say. Let this woman not be used. You know?
Right. I knew you had a classic clap down on Mr. Our resident PS. Let's
Ah,
move
no.
on.
Nari andakaleni pali jeje. Nari
Let's
mukanya
move
ine
on.
nari kana tiyo. Government yali kwata mulu bali.
Let's move on. There's no government has no
Ah,
gain.
ukona men. Let's
What gain do they get out of JJ?
wakalinda. Itakwabo
Anyway,
mu.
let's move on. Let's move on.
Please.
Let's move on to the top-notch lawyer, KBF, Kelvin Wadiafube. Finally launched his manifesto. I looked at it. I mean, I don't see it any different from the PF. But Lufia, this is your topic. Run away with it.
Yeah, I saw the launch of the manifesto. I watched it, and I went through his manifesto. And while I was reading it and analyzing it, it triggered a thought. I was like, I'm not seeing a wow moment here. I'm not seeing that thing that you say, oh wow, this is something different. That's what we're looking for. Now, look at our simple manifesto. And then you, as an opposition, you're claiming to say you've got better ideas than the current government. And you come with duplicated ideas. Like these ideas that everybody has heard before. I want to hear about something that I've never heard before. I'm looking for the wow. I think this can work.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I thought that was just
Chanda, can you mute yourself, Chanda?
a waste of time and so on and so forth because he's a leader trying to come into politics or trying to be a leader, trying to run a nation, but he's coming up with ideas that are duplicated. To me, I fail to understand it because if I look at this opposition right now, KBF, the members, and everybody else, they're not coming up with proper checks and balances or ideas or proper manifestos, alternative solutions. I'm just reading the same thing. I was watching again, who's this Mouse Amp, I guess. Same thing. I'm like, guys, what are you talking about that can shift the trajectory of this country's economy? There's nothing you're saying, and there's nothing you're bringing to the table. Okay, that's why when everybody's on, they say people are saying, look, we have the right president in the seat right now. Okay, and the current constitution, the current UPND manifesto that we have is working for the Zambians today. Okay, so no matter how much you hate HH, because the people of Zambia are going to vote for him again so that he continues and he finishes our project. Okay? What? Ah, look, but KBF, I think he's a little bit bitter because if you see, I think KBF wanted to be appointed as the vice president after the UPND won. But because because the president went a different direction. And because, KBF just came come last minute, really, to start supporting HH, and him, because he claims to say, I'm a president maker, I made this president, I made this president, I've made many presidents. But in the UPND, you came at the end, and we can see the way you were doing the politics, the way you were campaigning. It was sort of strategic, trying to get close to HH, but it takes time. The president, he has people that he has been with him in the opposition for many, many years. And you cannot just come up and say, oh, yes, please, oh, what. And then after you're not given what you wanted, then you flip the coin and start saying that HH has done nothing. I was shocked that he has done nothing. There's nothing in their manifesto. Everything is useless. Why were you supporting him in the first place during the campaign? If it was nothing, there was no sense in the UPND manifesto. Today you come to claim that, oh, there's nothing, and there's nothing he has done. Sometimes let's learn to appreciate certain things. Let's learn to appreciate. Even in the opposition, when you're in the opposition, appreciate the good things that your fellow president is doing. And the people will see it, okay, this is a reasonable leader. Maybe they may even vote for you.
But and I didn't hear that. You said appreciate what?
The good things that the current government or president is doing for this country.
When you are in opposition.
What I'm saying is this: KBF is in the opposition. Okay, while he's in the opposition, he should be able to say the good things that the current government is doing, even if he's in the opposition. It's not just about condemning, complaining, saying all these. No, 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 no. Even if you're in the opposition, you should come up and say, you know what? I think this is a good idea. This is good. Okay, and the people will start appreciating you as an opposition leader. Say, I think this person is reasonable. He's able to see good things, even though he's in the opposition. But if you're just condemning each and every good thing that is happening, how are people going to give you votes? So that's my big question. And I read it, I saw it. I don't know if there's anything that you've seen about Kazia that is brilliant in his manifesto that we can talk about. I want to hear it from you, but I don't know everybody else what they think. If there's anything brilliant, thank you.
It's okay. Well, you bring out a very valid point, and this is in public domain. KBF was not picked by HH simply because the moment HH won, do you know what KBF started doing? Because there are recordings everywhere. All these people with cases, all these people with corruption cases, KBF started reaching out to them, promising them deals, saying he would go right up to the president to make their cases go away. The president picked it up and tore him off. And that's why he never gave him a position. It's in public domain.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, that's why he was not picked.
Oh, because
there are recordings, and that those things grew legs to the president.
Can you share with us?
Yeah, they're everywhere on social media. Yeah, it's not news. Anyway, shall we? Let's bring in Vakazia, seeing as you have a lot to talk about on KBF. Your comments.
First of all, KBF has every democratic right to say what he wants to say in a manner he so wishes to say, because that is a democracy that the UPNG guaranteed to all of us, is to say things the way you feel and the way you see it without any fear of contradiction. And I have the UPNG manifesto on governance. I think I may have told you on this platform that one of the things I did, I knew about it because I had it. Yes. I had the statement. So I showed you, I had all the manifesto. So I know exactly what UPND was promising. And that is why at times when I come back, hard on you guys, because these are things that are written by yourselves in your manifesto. And then when you go away from them, then you are reminded, say, wait a minute, this is not what you said. So KBF, whether he was promised whatever, he has every right. And you see, one of the things that our Zambian politics has done, which UPND exercised in opposition very well, is exactly what KBF is doing. Very, very well. There was statement after statement on everything. If you talk about you go online, you will find our president, our current president, position on the rule of law. What was he saying? He was talking about stopping the thuggery of the police, making sure that you are arrested, this happens. 24 hours, you should show up in court. He gave hope. He had a clean slate. But now we have people that are in cells for 1 week, 2 weeks, even others that are abducted. He's talked about agriculture. He spoke about it. When here, when you see land policy and planning, it's there. He said it. If you talk about education, he said it. If you talk about the labor and social security, he said it. Even if some of the things I didn't agree with, me, I was very vicious around that. I said, no, don't touch NAPSA. Now people are claiming for NAPSA. But you know, he is the president on each and everything. So what KBF is doing, he is just exercising his democratic right. And rightly so, we must protect that voice to say it the way he wants. And just do the things that have to be done. Before most of you were joined, I was telling you that one of the most dangerous things for the UPND is not even the opposition, political parties, KPF and others. It is the supporters, the praise singers. Because at times they do not hear an alternative voice that says, it's about rationalizing. Not saying, okay, what does this person say? What sense can we keep from it? It's like anything that comes from all of us that we are waiting that it is nonsensical. It is meant to ridicule the president. It's meant to ridicule the UPND government. And I think this is one thing that the party must manage. It must manage praise singing to the point that they know that if you stand up and say, Vane, this is wrong, you are not an enemy because you are Zambian. It's like now there's this group of Zambians that have the right to speak, and others are PF. The others are PF, the others are Zambian. So PF is not part of Zambia. Or critical minds are not part of Zambia. Oh. So let's leave KBF alone. Let him say what he wants. Let him run the way he wants. And let's protect that space for him to say. That's what I can say about KBF.
Our beloved PS, our beloved PS. The topic, my beloved PS, was on KBF's manifesto. It's not about stopping his democratic right to freedom of association
I can say that.
or
You see.
having parties.
Okay, Bakalinda,
We are looking at his manifesto.
okay, maybe let me give one last
What is
comment.
he bringing in?
Well, let me give one of the comments that I see. You see, if I see the KBF manifesto, of course it is government, it is people centered. That's what he's saying. Zambia must prosper. So that is what he's looking out for. He's looking at putting a center stage in Zambia. And that's why what I'm saying is doesn't see a lot of more different things. I don't see a lot more different as well. But this is what our politicians have done.
All right. We hear you.
So you agree there's nothing spectacular about that manifesto?
Yes.
There's
Yes.
nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing spectacular. I mean, like, look. I think we need to raise the bar. We need to raise the bar
I
a
should
little
be
bit.
able to answer it, please.
You have said it. You have answered.
Protected.
Right.
If
All
I'm
right,
not
gentlemen,
protected,
hold your thoughts. We have a new entrant here. Nosiku Mosley.
okay.
Please
Hello,
let us
everybody.
more podcast, and where are you joining us from? We are talking about KBF's new manifesto. Your comment.
Thank you. I have no comment at this point. I just joined, so I'm watching from Chicago.
All right, Chicago in the building. I'll see you in 2
You're
weeks.
welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
I'll see you
Thank
in
you.
2 weeks. Ah,
See you.
Yeah.
anyway.
May I comment?
Yeah,
May I comment?
Mr. Macha, come in.
Yeah. For me, KBF. What's the surname for Kelvin?
Fube.
Fube.
Fuve.
What?
Walia Fuve.
Fube nishimwe. Fube. What is Fube mchiremba?
Bachilofyana bakazia, comment.
Fube nishi.
Missed.
Yeah. So it's just like that. It's just like that.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Well, Master, I don't think you see.
It's not there to stay. It's not
not
there to
reduce
stay.
people's
That
names.
manifesto. That manifesto is
but
nothing.
don't reduce people's names, Master. It's not right.
No, but I mean, it's not there to stay.
Yeah, but don't
That manifesto is not there to stay.
No.
Fuve, I mean, what has he said that has Zambia must prosper? Has his political party prospered? How many people have joined it? How many people has he amassed to join that thing? If Zambia must prosper. Has this party prospered? For us to say, or for us to have hope. Ni fuve fe. Naleka.
All right. Moving on, Dr. Buller, we are talking about KBF's new manifesto. Your comment, Zambia must prosper. Do you see any prosperity in KBF's party?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't had chance to read the manifesto, so I'm not really sure what was covered there. So I have no comment. But definitely, of course, if you want to come up with a new manifesto, you have to show something at least that's new, unique. How are you going to transform this country, which has been low? We can't even move to middle income country level. So I think something unique, something. But yeah, I haven't seen it. Maybe when I get a chance to read it.
If you've read the PF manifesto, that's KBF.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Just change the title.
No. That is what we're saying.
No, it just changed the font.
Ideas.
Yeah.
It just changed the font.
Ideas.
It just changed the font.
Copyright manifestos.
Yes.
It changed the font.
Can I ask a question to you, colleague?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question to you?
Hold your question.
One statement.
Hold your question. Let Dr. Where's Dr. Danny? Say something, and then you can ask your question. Dr. Danny, let's allow people.
I'm here. Fuwe is just one of those politicians that has joined the ranks of the Kambiris, the ranks of KBF. Is it what's the other one? GBM, sorry. They are just joining that club. They have cast their political usefulness. Okay? There's nothing that he had an opportunity in the political scenario of Zambia to contribute positively, and he had an opportunity to do that. And instead, what does he do? Because of his selfishness, he wants a top job all the time. And that's why he's been falling out of favor from most political parties, because he thinks he can only be the president of the country, not the deputy or something like that. So to me, Fuwe is one of those leaders that's supposed to be packed, like Kamwidi has packed himself. I like that. He needs to join that club of the Kamwidis, the GBMs, and all that. That to me, that's my only. There's nothing he has written in that manifesto which is gonna raise the eyebrows of some of us and say, "Oh my God, that's a brilliant idea." There's nothing, absolutely nothing new. he has said. For example, our manifesto as UPND had something that stood out to the Zambian people. That was bringing a CDF to the people. And everybody knew that if UPND came in power, they would decide their own fate. And people believed that, and then people have been given the money in the CDF. That was something unique in Zambia. Okay, so what does that manifesto have? Nothing. Zero. And as I said earlier on, Fuwe was one of those architects of PF's manifesto anyway. So he just duplicated what he was telling the PF people at that time. So there's really nothing we can learn from that.
Well spoken, Doc. Now that, Kazia, you can ask your question.
Yeah, before I'll give a statement before I ask the question. One of the good things that I think President H has done very well, and I've told this to Dan, is that he knows how to deal with people that betray other people. If you betray your own group that you're in, you are trying to go and seek safe haven. He knows how to treat people like that. And the next person to deal with is Winter. Is going to follow the same route. I like that because it is something that people must learn. That you don't use other people and then protect yourself somehow. And that I give kudos to him. Because he is very excellent at that. And that is the way people must learn how to get discipline. Because their political careers here and get immediately. Because from UPND to go elsewhere and say you're going to function, it's very difficult. That UPND has done very well. The next question that I have, which from UNIP up to UPND, which political party has followed this manifesto?
What was your
As
question?
what?
What political party from UNIP to UPND has stuck to its manifesto?
Has
A
what?
manifesto is just. I think we need
That's
to
not my
understand one
question.
thing.
That's not my question. I'm saying what
No.
political party has stuck to its manifesto?
Okay, I'm going to answer you in this way. A manifesto is just
I
a
know
document.
about that.
No.
Yes, but I mean, even if, okay, let me just say this: even if we had that 10-point, we have that 10-point plan. Then, because of the times change, are you telling me we're just going to stick to what we said we're going to do?
No,
You have to bring in other new ideas.
You are not
bringing new ideas. I'm answering you.
Protect me from
You don't want me to answer you in a way that I'm answering you because you have asked a question that's a little bit ambiguous. Because
you
one,
ask to say which political party has started to has been able to work within its manifesto. That's an ambiguous question.
UPND and UNIP. Those are the
There's
two
also
parties.
there's also force majeure.
That's a good one. Thank you, Makari. They've answered.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. Who else hasn't said anything before we move on? Yeah, we know how to handle our resident PS.
No, you know exactly because you know what the answer is like, and you know how the also trying to show that.
It's gonna take another the whole day.
Because in Zambian politics, usually you work with national development plans. The political manifestos don't work. Even UPND, when you check the entire manifesto which I have right here open, you will not see that they are going to talk about anything to do with CDF. They are talking about local empowerment. There's nothing in the manifesto here. You can tell me to go to this page and find what
yes, you can go to article. Article 25.
I have it here. Here is
number 11.
Number 11. On page what?
27.
27.
Yes. Article. Number 9. Let us see, and then small ones.
27.
Okay. Now let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's get
I
the
have it
now.
here.
Let's move on to
Okay, you can read that later, Bakazia.
Yeah, but it's not there, Bakalinda. So I'm on page 27 right now. It's not there. Thank you. We
Vakazia.
can move on.
Let's move on.
Yes.
The economic. Let's get the update now from the economic court. The update on Musambo. Our
mini president. That I was a mini president.
but if you take the wheel, take the wheel.
But I just heard about it. He was saying like in the courts of law, he was telling the magistrate that he was more like a second president. So in short, he was saying that he was very close to Walungu, that he was considered at the level of a vice president. And all his things the wealth that he amassed is because of his hard work and stuff like that. And he talked about his history, how he started the business, where the brother started the business, he took the business over. Like, there's no amount of money that you can say that this is what I really earn. Like, even if they were overpaying you, because I was actually really listening to Winter when Ragazia is condemning Winter joining the UPND as an alliance partner. I think it's going to bring in some good contribution to the UPND government on that level. He does not. He said this. I don't want any position. Okay, so it means even just at the consultancy level, okay, he can go there and sit down with HH and they can consult each other. It doesn't mean that he wants to come there given a position or you're going to be a mines minister or you're going to be, because we all know Winter Kazimba's history. I mean, he's held most relevant positions in government for a
So
very long
I'd
time in
like
all
to
these different.
declare interest, Bachelofia, in this issue. Yeah, but Mr. Winter, I'm not stopping
Uh,
anybody from talking.
uh-huh.
Winter is a family member.
Okay.
So, yeah, so
I didn't know that. But
I'm
me, I'm
declaring
just
interest. I'm not
me.
saying
Okay.
you guys can
It's not
talk about him, but I just need
okay.
you to know he's a family
No,
member. So
no,
don't
yeah,
ask
that's
him.
fine. But it's not like
Don't
me
ask.
and Wakalinda have rehearsed or anything like that.
Yeah.
Me, I just listen to politicians, and there are certain politicians in the opposition that I can listen to. You know, Winter is one of them. Bob Sichinga is one of them. These are politicians that even if they had to
You
ask
started
me,
appeasement.
no, because they give a real roundup. If there's something wrong, he would say it. He say, no, this is wrong. This is wrong, and he would give reasons why it's wrong. You see, so those are the type of politicians me I follow. But some politicians, everything is wrong, which is bad. So back to the point that the top of discussion that we're saying. So Winter, it's good. He's come and he's joined us, and he'll have we can welcome him and everything. And Vakazia, you asked a question. You threw me off, Vakalinda, when you jumped in.
No, I declared interest because we were talking about Lubalu Sambo. Then the issue came to
Yeah,
that.
Balusambo.
You
Okay.
throw me off. That's why I
Yeah.
said that Kabimba is a family member because you threw me off.
No. No, because there's a point I was going to reach at. If you have just given me the. So in any case, Valusambo, he claims to have been a mini president during the Patriotic Front era, to have amassed so much wealth. Okay, but Winter Kabimba was saying there's no much salary in being a member of parliament or a minister. You cannot, you can't even able to build a two-story building house. Okay, no matter how much you save. Now, if people who are ministers have got huge mansions, lodges everywhere, dotted around, he was asking. That's where I was going with Winter Kabimba. He was asking like, how did you save your money? And how did you do it? Impossible. That's what he was saying. According to him, the interview is online. You can go and watch it yourself. And me, I can say, look, I trust him because one, he's a lawyer and he's been in government, and of course, he's somebody who has held several positions. So he was asking, why are these ministers amassed so much wealth within a short period of time? It's impossible. Katushima Kazia, since you've been in government, tell us, is it possible to amass so much wealth within a short period of time to build a flat left, right, and center? I don't know.
I don't think that it is. If you ask me that question, I do not think it is possible to build the country as a one minister for afterward. No, but if you have not been, there's a difference for people that come in government. There could be a limitation to what the person can have, and the interrogations to that can happen. I have a lot of reservation for that. First of all, I love Mawinga very much, number one, because he says it the way it is. He has no time to sugarcoat, to scratch, whatever. No, he says it the way it is. If you don't like him, he will tell you exactly that. But he's very firm. And I know that he might be the Secretary General of UPND. That is where he should be if UPND has to survive, because one is also ex-Canadian. You see, although I may not agree with the things that you say, typically to say, no, when you are a minister, what? No, that I don't agree. Because they all seek political office for one, opportunities. These people that you see all seeking political offices as opportunities to do business, opportunities for favors and things. That is what those guys are seeking. And that is the point across the world. It is opportunities that they seek for. So even Winter has gone to UPND for opportunities. There's nothing special about it, and there's nothing even wrong about it to go and seek for opportunities in UPND. And I hope they will use, you guys are going to use his expertise without frustrating him. Because you see, this issue of amassing wealth has been happening. I have given an example of this one issue. Who was a casual worker 4 years ago? Now he has Hilux, he has houses, he has even shares in the mines, meeting by the street. What has happened? You see, so those things that are there, they are probably says opportunity.
You too,
So,
the question is simple.
I like you. So,
Let's
opportunity.
bring back to the issue of Sambo in court, stating that him and his brother owned an entertainment business where they were making $5 million a month. Yeah? And then he was so influential in the government of PF, where he was getting all these contracts, and that's where his wealth comes from, to be able to afford all those flats in Meanwood, Silver Rest. He was even buying Impalas, lions from the parks for his home. Yes. Yeah. So that's where his $5 million are coming from, Vane. That's the question.
I think maybe Danny can come in and expand on that one.
Yeah, Dr. Danny, please empower us.
All right.
Because
the PS knows my stance on Lusambo. We already talked about this. Lusambo, all the money he has at the moment was definitely obtained dubiously. There's no way Lusambo can be a business genius to have those so many. You know how many houses they got from Chongwe area alone for Lusambo? 40.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Chongwe area.
Wow.
Taken 40 houses taken away.
I wouldn't
That's
be
just
surprised.
one area, and he has someone in that valley, whatever in Lusaka, something valley, Chamba Valley. Yes,
King
some
Zyla,
yes. What type of
Nala.
genius is that?
Mm?
Who can have that type of thing? So we know this is dubiously obtained, whether it's corruption or he has been given whatever from the Chinese people, he was given plots, whatever. It's dubious money. There's no way you can come today and say I was a businessman, I was selling coffins and stuff like that all my life and all that. It's yeah, that was his business. He was selling coffins. So it's not really something that we should be talking about. These guys stole money from the Zambian people, and that's the reason why they are so rich now. It's just obvious. We don't even have to debate this. Thank you.
Hello. My comment.
Yes. Back. Who is commenting?
My comment there about Musambu. The other one was a reaction.
Okay, you go ahead.
For Lusambo, you see, one of the things I think we've debated with Dan on this one. I don't have a problem with government pursuing everybody else who is stolen and stuff like that. I don't have a problem with that. I have only a problem with a crusade against Zambians only. There has been no Mzungu, no Chinese, no Indian in this category who has, for them, they will come paupers. Because I saw some Chinese coming paupers and going back billionaires. Nobody investigates them. We never talk about the foreigners who have amassed wealth within ourselves. Nothing. Nothing completely. It is only Zambians that are corrupt. It's only Zambians that are white. It's only us. That has gone beyond me. This is why political persecution is seen in the things that we do. And the only people who prosecute are politicians. Private individuals are never. If it is a private individual Zambian we are going to follow, is because it's connected to PF or is connected to MMD. This same trend will continue the moment UPND goes out of power. The Kakubos will start asking them, where did you get a $200,000 cash? Where bank did it pass from? And we shall get everything that he worked for before he was even a member of parliament. We will get, because he is Zambian, who we think is corrupt. All the Chinese Kakubo worked with are all saints. If they gave him money dubiously, we only get Kakubo's money. We don't get the Chinese money. Why should we behave that way? Why should we behave that way against our own? Why should only be Zambians that are criminals? Why can't we change this and attack everybody? Everybody. If Lusambo is there, catch him. If another Chinese is there, catch him. Why is it that it is politicians and Zambian politicians, whoever they worked with, store together, they are safe, and they join UPND? We see them with ministers. We see them with the president. The same people that were being seen with PF ministers. Where did they come from? What has happened to the things that they amassed? It is only the Zambians. And this trend is something we must start to think on very, very seriously. We will always make all our politicians poor. The moment these guys are coming out and watch this space, I will remind you, if this forum will still be there, I said, what did I tell you on this day? We shall go and see them start grabbing farms, start grabbing houses. Even the houses, they grabbed even the house he had before he was a member of parliament. Grabbed the store. Why don't you separate what was stolen and what was not stolen? Everything gone. Everything seized. Anyway, I hope this is part of our development.
Dr. Mbulo.
Yeah, I think it's during Kaunda's time we had I don't know what he called it, but there was a way to account, if you're a member of parliament or a minister, to account for your wealth. So there's a lot of unaccounted for wealth. So can Lusambo show the evidence that he really, what type of business he was running and all that? And the argument about Chinese, Indians, or foreigners coming, who facilitates it? We facilitate it. So those are gone. We have to deal with our own. We have to start with ourselves. Chinese investors sit in China and say, who wants to go and invest in Zambia? They give them a lecture of how you are going to invest in Zambia. Okay. If you have no passport or no visa, don't worry. You can just bribe your way at the airport. You arrive in Zambia with a Chinese passport, you even stand, the line for Zambians and bribe your way through. So it's the Zambians who facilitate it. So we have to. That's why we target those Zambian politicians. We are put there as a minister to protect and preserve the country. So you can't just get some money and facilitate foreigners coming in to steal the resources. You are the gatekeeper. So that's why we go for you. So that's why when you leave power, we look at, okay, where did you get all this wealth? We are not against you being rich. You can be rich, but just be honest. Or if you are honest, if you steal, you should steal in a smart way so we don't catch you.
Wambui, I have a question for you.
Oh
I
Wambui,
like
I have
that
a
one.
question for you.
Still in a
You
smart
steal in a
way.
smart way so that we don't catch you.
Wambui, I have to ask you a question. So,
Yes, please.
if a Chinese comes in our country and
Yes.
corrupts our minister,
Yes.
like right now, there's a lot of corruption cases that are still going, that people have reported and nothing is being done.
Yeah,
Someone
they are going
reports,
on. Yes.
oh, the Chinese has come in the country, he has corrupted our minister. Then the minister loses power. So we only catch our minister. The Chinese is okay to corrupt our minister, isn't it? Is that
You remember the
It's
case?
usually the other way around, actually.
You remember
Zakazia.
the case of South Africa when those, is it Patels or something? They call it state
Gupta.
capture.
Oh,
Gupta
yes,
brothers.
the
State
Guptas,
the
yes.
capture.
Guptas.
So if
Yes.
your government is so corrupt, the whole system, even the financial system, downgrade your country. When you borrow, if you have like drug dealers in your government, it downgrades your country.
Yeah,
So we
but
have to be clean at that level.
you have not answered my question, Wajok.
Yes.
He's coming to it.
So
Wait.
when it comes, if we can find those foreigners, even South Africa now, that's when they're trying to find the Guptas. They are long gone, but who can they catch? Zuma. The same people who facilitated that. So it's a Lusambo can be used a lesson for others. If you're in power, you don't facilitate. Yes, you have to stay clean. Like I say. If you steal, you have to steal smart so we don't catch you.
In fact, let me just chip in real quick on this one.
Yeah.
Rakazia, just to answer you. On this one, it's actually usually the other way around. Because if you look at the Chinese investors when they come to Zambia, in China, there's nothing like that. Once you're caught being corrupt, I mean, it's a death sentence. Now, Kunonga Vaisa, they find a corrupt leader, and then he's telling them, look, this business, you can do some shortcuts as long as you give me this kickback. It's not them that go and approach them to tell them. It's the actual corrupt person or a minister who goes to tell them. Here in Zambia, this is how we run business. Okay? So that's the difference. So now, because you're saying, what about the other person who corrupted the minister? No, it's the minister that usually corrupts the investor. That's the trend that at least in the previous government.
This is exactly where my problem. This is the problem that I find. And as long as we behave in that manner, one, corruption will be a fairy tale. Even the people that are there will be fairy tale. Because we must frown upon the boss. Iwangawa is an investor must know that if you are found corrupting the minister, you and the minister in the same boot, we will deal with you to the same extent we are dealing with the minister. And actually, you have corruption, we will deal with. That's what Botswana does. That's why Botswana is zero corruption. If you go in Botswana and corrupt the minister, they catch you. They will deal with you in a way you probably their own may even be scot free. So that everyone going into Botswana right now, they know that Botswana is not a go area. If you go and take money in Botswana, they will just eat your money and their person will be free. So anyone who is coming into Botswana knows that from onset, you have no safe haven. As long as you are corrupt, you'll be the one to lose the money. Their nation will be protected.
Botswana has
But,
sorted
but
that
the
out.
person who is supposed to catch those guys are the ones who are being corrupt.
Yeah,
So
but the point is that
we only catch them after they are out of power.
no, but the point is that the same people that were corrupting, those are still there, corrupting the ones that are there, and because they are free, you see, they are free to only go to the other one. So this system of them, and they have the money, and by the way, they have their financial muscle from their countries. They get the zero interest loans and stuff like that. You know, 2% interest loans. That's why they even set the banks. There's a Bank of China in Zambia. There's a Bank of Indo Bank, Zambia Bank, the Indians bank with that bank. The financing is there. So we going after our people. I'm telling you, we
I
need to
have
do
a
away
bank
with
account at Indo Zambia Bank, Ivani.
who are the owners
Don't
of the Zambia Indo Bank.
it's jointly
There's a,
owned by the governments,
My
two
Indians in
governments of
Amazon.
Zambia.
That, where is the Indian financing home? You are not going to find Indalama Shama Indians in Zanaco. I'm telling you that. All Indian companies will not find that money in Zanaco. You find that money in the Zambia Bank. Indalama Shama Chinese, all Chinese companies that are there, they're with Bank of China. They're not going to give you into invest trust. They're not going to do that. That's what I'm talking about. It's much bigger. We must be able to look beyond and look at the interest of our people first. Let's protect and we want to deal with our people. The corruption is a fairy tale. They externalize and they run away. Even the Zambians start running away. Even these guys that are there will just run away and leave our country in tatters. We must deal with them at the point of entry. Now, let corruption in Zambia. We will fix you to the same extent the person you've corrupted the Zambian is the same extent and with the same vigor. Then corruption would end.
Bakazia, Rome wasn't built in one day.
Can I also contribute something? Kazia has been talking alone for a long time.
Yes, and then after you do, let's go to Mr. Macha. My brother has been too quiet.
Kazia has been predominating too much.
The Chinese,
Go ahead.
the Chinese have their own way of doing things. I like Mr. Kazia, the way he takes the Chinese. He's a very serious person. He doesn't take the nonsense. He knows they are corrupt. I know vari for kwapela something. Nomba vari moneka na flow vari kaninina. There was no way. I wish
Vengi sana na kanini ba macha on that to not. Vengi sana na lefo uchirefi abupo. Me, I put my Zambians first. I don't put any other person first.
How much were you tempted with? Give us a scenario. How much? Blue envelope or brown envelope?
You see, the people that corrupt, they don't corrupt you from a point of view that they will start giving you favors. They want you to meet them in certain places and then they give you money. Let them come to your office. Simple as all that. Let them come to your office. If someone comes, there's someone who came with money in my office, I shared with my staff. Uyunga mkampere permit ya kanyano kunya. Ukampera permit ingesa kule. No what got afenji. And they stopped coming. You see, it's a question of how we deal with them ourselves. If we treat them as heroes when they are corrupting us, then yes, they'll be heroes. And our people are going to be because they see that these corrupt chaps they are jumping from one government to the other and the same group. So what is hope do our people have? If we are going to go this domination, then
So kanchi Chinese is very dangerous. Wachanda mutwewe kumba konkomesha abali mpawa aba. Basi wewe kujilinga na Chinese because you are saying it as having experienced it. So if you were able to resist,
they know the ones that in government, they know. It's not like they don't know. There's nothing I can tell them which they don't know. They are busy eating with them right now.
Yeah, sad story. I have no comment.
Dr. Danny.
First of all, we have very limited resources to clean other people's homes and then clean our own house. So, for me, what the government is doing by dealing with their own people is the first step. We don't have enough money to start sending investigators of a Chinese who is in Beijing. We send 10 investigators to go and find his account in Beijing and all that. That is the way corruption fight is. You have to travel. You have to spend months and months abroad if you are dealing with a foreigner. So, for me, we have a Zambian who is corrupt, a Zambian who has connived with the Chinese. The first step is to deal with that person first. Investigating a foreigner, it's not easy. It's not easy. you have to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars abroad. We don't have those type of resources. So the easiest is to catch Lusambo right now and deal with him. So we are not a rich country to start investing billions of dollars in Beijing and whatever. Remember, all these guys, if you want to investigate them, what are they going to say? They will say you have to hear their cases in Beijing. What are you going to do? You start sending the lawyers, the team of lawyers there for 5, 7, 10 months. It's not easy. So to me, what the government is doing, what you're saying, no, the foreigners are not being caught, it's only Zambians. It is for our own, it's a first step. We clean our own home and then we'll deal with that later, okay? The most important thing is we should not protect thieves like Lusambo when we know, because we have not caught him red-handed. It's common sense. Someone cannot own more than 50 homes just because he was a minister. It's not just, doesn't make sense. So for me, let's continue what we're doing. Let's bring these culprits to book, confiscate their things, seize whatever we can see, lay hands on, and they will learn. Even the Chinese now, when they come, the Zambians will start saying, no. If I do this, I will have my things seized. That's the starting point. Let's start from there. Because in the past, people were stealing and smiling. Lusambo himself, he was saying, I'm stealing. He was asked on national television, why are you stealing? He's saying, I'm stealing for my children.
For the future.
If you're stealing for the future.
He said it.
Yes.
He didn't deny that was stealing. He said, yes.
If you're stealing, you're stealing for the future.
That's what he said. So now we are prosecuting this guy and we say, no, let's bring the Chinese, not Lusambo. No. These guys are proud when they are stealing. They are very proud. He was saying, my wife's perfume is more than some people's rent. On national television.
Yes. Lentils.
So this is the guy who was proud stealing and flashing money. He would go in his constituency with bags of money, giving people in the queue, giving them mini meal, giving them this. That was
Tantamen.
So now we should say, no, let's leave Lusambo. Let's talk about the Chinese who corrupted him. No, let's catch these guys. Thank you.
All right. I think we move on. Let's move on.
Yes.
We really have to get through these topics quickly. Oh my goodness. Anybody saw Nakachinda's pity party this past week? Nakachinda held a press conference. I mean, I know we love politicking in Zambia. We love it over here. But there are some things that we never should politicking about, like food, our own security. Trying to use underhand methods to make the country ungovernable. So somebody from another party can come and take over. It's un-Zambian. So the police arrested for the upteenth time him again this week because he accused the government of poisoning Zambians from the contaminated milling mill. And then he came out and says, well, these people don't want us to talk. They're infringing on our human rights. Come on, people. Let's be serious with again, by opposition, Bakazia. You condone such behavior.
It's okay. But vakazi ya opposition
The human rights.
Yes.
No, I just quoting them. I'm done.
Human rights.
Vakazi.
Yes, that's it. Human rights.
Where is the human rights when you're claiming that which government is going to poison its own people?
You see, me, I have told you to say, we have created a pattern in our politics in Zambia. And you see, when you create a certain pattern of behavior and conversation, it's very difficult if you don't make a fundamental shift from that kind of conversation, it becomes the norm. It becomes the normal things to say. You see? And you know, because you guys, Dan would remember, I told him a long time ago that the freedoms that you're trying to say, oh, people, what people, these things will come and turn against you. He did not even listen. And the people went on rampage, talking and doing stuff. Everyone now in Zambia can say anything. It's a freedom. It's a freedom you've brought. Even that, you've brought it as a freedom which must be protected. He is saying you're poisoning people's using aflatoxin because you saw the maize. The maize which you find the maize, you sell it, which is proper maize, and you go and get GMO, pack it there, so aflatoxin is raised and stuff like that. So he has his reasons why he's saying like that, things like that. And this is exercising the freedom of speech. Democracy so they look at me to kill you.
All right, Dr. Mbolo.
Yeah, it's yeah, but I mean, I agree with the idea of letting him talk. I think, of course, there has to be a lot of discussion on this issue because that's the health of the public, you know. So that thing needs to be investigated, and we have to openly discuss where did that, mini meal come from. We all eat in Shima, so I think it's something very sensitive. We have to talk about it. We have to discuss. Of course, he might have added some spices to make the whole story more interesting, but I think let him discuss. Let him, let us all discuss. It affects everybody. There might be one or two people we know who have eaten that mini meal. So I think let's discuss it. Thanks,
Mr. Maju.
Mr. Binoculars always has something to say at any time. And desperate times call for desperate measures. Right now, they still haven't, it hasn't sat well in their minds that they are not in power. So they'll use any available opportunity to discredit the government, especially if it has to do with a staple food, ubunga, akabwadi. They know everyone will support them. So they should talk about it. He has a hand that he can swing. He can swing his hand in any manner he wants. But the moment it touches someone's nose, it's a problem. It's his own hand, his own mouth. There are many people that have said stuff about the aflatoxins in the mini meal. How many have been arrested? Zero. It's him. So, like someone said, the spices that he's putting there maybe are making it so alarming. There's certainly some substance which, at a point of law, do not augur well with the laws of Zambia. He must have raised the alarm, unnecessary alarm. Has he proven it? Raising alarm in Zambia is an offense. When you raise alarm, what is done when someone raises an unnecessary alarm?
You see, the problem with our criminal system is that it's not up to him to prove. It is you who have arrested him that are going to prove that Alistair committed crime and there was intention and malice aforethought. So, there is also another. In legal terms, if you never landed it, you cannot prosecute him and succeed. You want to disturb him because they are enshrined in certain provisions of the law. It is something that can harm. Now, so much he can prove that aflatoxins are not part of the things that you can even, if because just want to tell you to say, try to export maize which has aflatoxin to this level in another country like the US and everything. That is why they are dangerous. So you see, it's political system, it's politics. If UPND fails to handle politics, that will be coming from the opposition about statements. You mukataka ichalo chonse. Mukati makata banakachinda na umbiala ndamayana mwayalonga. You will not manage that part. You cannot use that to gag people. These are politicians. They are not like civil society people. They are not like civil servants like myself. No. They are political leaders that are playing politics within the political space. How many things did HH say in opposition? You know very well. Some of the things 3 minutes. And nobody, even if you try to arrest him for that, you will not succeed. Did they succeed anything? Everything that they tried failed. PF tried to do it. They failed. He was a political leader and he was speaking in a political space. So let's say if they were to say, let's arrest him for insulting language, which he said in Wafula, obviously. Yes, of course, that was wrong. And it's not allowed by law. But he was playing politics. So trying to arrest him for that insult was not going to do anything. It's the same thing that is happening right now. So some of the things are politics. They better just you let them slay. At times we give prominence to things that we shouldn't be giving prominence to. Well, especially when politicians are talking. These are people that insult each other in public, and in the evening they're together drinking a cup of milk. And then us as people that support, we are on each other's throat for nothing. Me, it's politics. Let him speak the way he wants. That's the democracy of our country. That's the beauty. Don't go and arrest him because you will not jail him for that. He will fail.
Right. Who hasn't spoken?
Na mwisho bakazia vanani kane nakachinda. The way he was saying it, that's the problem. We don't mind about him saying or making comments on the situation near Vunga and aflatoxin in the middle and the levels, how they are high. But it's how you're saying it, how he was phrasing it. He was insinuating yet the government is deliberately trying to poison and kill its citizens. Now that's what we're saying. That's alarming. That is with the way we're saying it's alarming. If it's any other, you go and you know these things, you know, because of this is what's happening and blah 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 blah. But if you're trying to pinpoint and point at the government and trying to blame them that they're deliberately doing it, politics. That's beyond politics now. It's personal. And we all know who sent them. That's why you see them coming up and saying all these crazy things. We all know. We all excuse me. We all know who's bankrolling their funny statements.
Mr. Chilufya, if you look at countries like the US, you know, they are more like formal media. You know, they sort of toe the party line or the political line, but there's a lot of social media now. And they talk about these things in so plain language, in so insinuating language like Nakachinda. It's only that in Zambia, we don't have the type of social media.
Yeah.
In the US or in the UK. They talk about these same things, you know. Biden will talk about it in a more formal way. But they will talk about it in a language that's so offending in social media. It's only that Nakachinda is not using, not using social media. You can see all these discussions. Just look at the discussion in those social media. It's exactly what people are saying, except they are not captured by the formal media. So you cannot arrest them. But this one, because he's a politician, he's got this platform and you can see what he's saying. And he talks like Wakaponya, you know, openly. That language, but that's what people say. Go on the street and they'll be saying exactly that.
No. I mean, I think if you want to use that analogy, also, I mean, if you look at the West, we have this cancel culture. I mean, if you are known, you are a celebrity, you are a politician, and I can name 5 people on top of my head that let's start with Kanye West. His tweets and his talks on the Jews. He lost $1 billion. He didn't need to get arrested. There are consequences. Look at Trump. He lost his Twitter account for over a year because of what he was tweeting. Who else? Who else?
But look at the people following Trump despite that.
Yeah.
The same for Nakachinda.
All right. Shall we move on? Let's quickly. I have to go and do my canvassing in a minute or two. Let's see here. Oh yes. Now this should be music to everybody. The government this past week launched what is called a Food for Work program throughout the country, where people now, yeah, this really should cater to our beloved PS.
What?
I'm sorry. Okay, let me bring myself back. Anyway, yeah, so the government launched this Food for Work. I think they're pumping about 80 million or 800 million, somewhere around there. Figures are not important. So people who have no jobs in urban areas, who work 3 days a week, earn 600 kwacha for as long as money is there, to try to help them out during these tough times, the drought. So mostly they'll be working cleaning up roads, drainages, anything that's the local councils, actually, they are spearheading this, feels fit to carry out in towns. Gentlemen, isn't this a great idea? That the kids that have no jobs can at least for 3 days clean up our sweeps, our streets, collect garbage, and make 600 kwacha to help them.
This is just as good as Tantamen.
But Mr. Macha.
How is it?
Tantamen.
How is it, Tantamen?
Mr.
You guys
Macha.
go back.
Mama, you're saying
What is going on, Mr. Macha?
some weird things today. I
Call me
don't
my
understand.
brother. Call me my
He's
brother.
telling the truth. He's telling the truth.
No, is that why they will say Mulera the
No, the mind is mine. The mind is mine. I can say this. This is what basically happened. I saw it work before I came to Zambia. Sometime in February, March. It was happening in Chiwinji district. Women, children, and elderly people, they would be called to work at a clinic, clean around. I mean, just make the clinic look clean. The roads that had blocked drainages, they were being unblocked, and some, our roads sometimes are bad. Corners, there are some blind corners where there is a lot of grass, a lot of trees. So they were being cleaned so that drivers should see clearly before they approach a corner. That's what some of the works which they were doing, and they were being given that maize. And it is commendable. Yes, they would tantama after working. They would vali tantama after wawomba vaya fulana mataba. After wawomba ero baire mkutantama. Not that tantamenya abali bomba nali monako neko bali bomba.
That's not the Lusambo Tantam. That's not the same.
Yeah. So like I need to take a little bit elaborate. Cash for work program. Therefore, if you say in a Tantama is this. Tantama in the Odin regime, you would find the so-called bulldozer. He would come at the market and lift a huge bag of money, sealed, with a lot of thousands and thousands. It's in public domain. I'll send you the video. He goes at the market and tells them, "Where want to Vakateka?" Yes, even lift a big bunch of money. These are clean notes coming straight from the bank, sealed. Sealed.
Muntu mine video ndifo kuimwe.
I have it. It's even on my page.
I've sent him that video 100 times.
Vantuma vakateka timbi yeshi mifoleshe vose pano mwamona munko bwino notita timwe mukantanzishe nchito ndevinchinjishire mukuvomba kuno impi yeshi ngada mifolesha mwaka nebwino bwino
At is Edgar Lungu chagwa untumine.
So now the difference is this.
And
The difference is, let me just
and
finish.
that is
The difference is
okay.
this. The difference is this. Cash for work. This is it's an empowerment program for people. The physically abled people. Because the one that is designed for disabled, and this one cash for work is for abled people. But it's physically able, which is many men and women in the compound, in the rural area. So what they're saying is this:
Who has
work for 10
financed
days.
that program?
It's the government. So you work for 10 days. Work for 10 days. You'll be given 60 kwacha a day. Okay. And what they're saying is this: instead of do something. Okay.
At Shani, 60 kwacha per day.
Inculcating 60 kwacha per day. Inculcating a working culture. Mumwine Zambia. Not to call fly in drama shalu. Because you need drama go off for us, like you just spend it carelessly. But if you work for something, you're able to sit down and say, oh, I can do it. Your life is even improving, even the way you're doing. At the same time, the government is benefiting in a way. Our drainages are being cleaned. All these other places, the environment is going to be clean. Very soon, in and
Yes.
we need proper drainage system. We need a clean place. Abantu at least very clean. And me, they take it upon themselves to say, if you saw I'm a line yabantu so just go on the internet and see for yourself.
Abantu
No, but it's they are going there to go and work. They want to go and work.
History. Can I come in there? History has taught us lessons. In America, when there was a Great Depression, the government launched programs such as those where people just work. They were building dams, they were building roads, and they were given something. It was not like nothing. They would do some work. Then here is a man, Mr. Bulldozer. He comes at the market with the bags of money. Let's hypothesize. He's given 10 bags of money by whoever is giving him. Would he go with 10 bags at the market? No, I'm not mentioning names. Whoever is financing, I'm a bag at 10. I'm a bag at 10 market. I'll send up Fenango Yavidi. I had 80. I'll stand Amanda Kuchongwe. You see, come on. Because of Tantamini, it's poor management, poor inculcation. We just have
okay, but I start my part into him with Panopafora.
No, I'm hypothesizing. I'm a researcher. That's hypothesis. That's hypothesis.
It's something that's living in your mind.
Now, look. I am ala now I'm perama bagari 10. Honestly speaking, the likes of Bulldozer. Kutatwala mabagari 10 ku bantu ayo. Nashimwenenshi. Ala twala kufeya bili na ngwimo. Adi 80. Aya chita na mayanda.
So FOUPND will be from Meron.
That's what used to happen.
Ours is the system.
Because you see, I'm shocked at the level of detail of how these things actually happen. So it went from Muchite from Meron.
That's what PF used to do.
Tabati
There are
awe
videos
tabati
out
awe
there,
tabati tako
Bakazia.
tantameni awe
No, but
awe tabati tako tantameni.
now let the question is Masana. Food for shani.
Food
Cash
for
for
work.
work.
Cash for
Cash
what?
for
For
work.
work.
Cash for work program.
It is the most exploitative way of dealing with nationals. First of all, that when you say government is financing, that's not government that is financing, it's donor financed. This is money supposed to go in social cash transfer.
Awe ni imbi muna imwe social cash transfer is different
Oh,
program.
no, you are lost.
That's different.
Again, okay, let me explain when I've lost you correct. Because I do not agree with the principle of what people are doing there. And then you are paying 60 kwacha per day, not even paying them the minimum wage, because minimum wage is around 40 kwacha per day. You say now, let's get these people, pay them cash, and then they go and clean. Where are the civic leaders? Where is the taxpayers' money going? The things that the councils are supposed to do. There's things that the local government is supposed to do. There's things that CDF is supposed to do. Drainage, where even safety standards are not measured. We don't even know about that. Because you are preying on people's vulnerability. I take strong exception myself for being from a labor department. I work in the Ministry of Labor, where occupation safety and health is one, and also that kind of what employment relationship is that? Tell me what employment relationship is that when a person has worked for the next 3 months in that scenario? Is he going to contribute to the pension scheme?
Awe nombe yomwe yasane yo na imwe. Takwa ofisi weki.
This is what is in the law.
What defines work first?
You can't work for cash. You cannot. It is either a piece work or it's either a short term or something. It must be categorized in a job setup.
It's a short-term thing. It's a short-term deal.
Yes, but the question is that which employment law allows you to employ people cash for work? Which section of the law? Because someone is going to apply his labor and then you pay. So which law are you following? What
informal?
Bakazia, these are volunteers.
They are not. You can't. Volunteers are not.
They are not workers.
Volunteer is not paid. But when you say
a volunteer is given water to drink,
what?
That 60 kwacha is for them to buy water.
You then tell me something else. But do not say cash for work because it means
because something bale bapela okay. Because something bale bombela. Because something bale bombela. Awe.
You have to define the something.
When you say that
define something.
To go and buy water.
Vakalinda, you are the ones who have said it is cash for work, which means someone will leave his house, come to work, after he has worked, then he be paid. Or else
yes. So the condition is you have to work in order to get that money.
Yes. So now, if a person is coming to apply his labor to something,
you want to make it for the labor. You want it to be formalized.
That yes.
You want it to be formalized in a manner that they should even be paying.
It's not that
pension.
I want. It's not Kazia saying that want. No, it is what does the law say. Don't say me. I'm just one person. But what does the law want say about when you do people like that?
I'm sure, Bakazia. I think the government has looked in all the things.
Okay, if they've looked at that, I will need to see some detail around.
Okay, don't worry. I'll forward you Gary Kombo's number. You can give him a call. He'll answer.
This is exactly what I tell my friend Chanda all the time. Every time the government rolls out a program, I tell him that they have done their due diligence to find out all these things he's talking about. But sometimes he doesn't believe me. He says, no, they have just rolled it out. They have just rolled it out.
Let's talk about it. Remember the discussion about CDF, you and me. What did I tell you when the CDF was launched first? And the questions I came, they turned out to be true later on. And you kept
No.
quiet about them.
No.
What did I say?
We talked about CDF being a new program. Any new
And what did I say?
who have teething problems.
What did I say? The teething problems.
You said they didn't plan for it.
Mm.
You said that they needed.
I said there was no policy framework and
to
legal framework.
know that. Anyway, let's move on. Moderator, go. Let's move on.
Yes. Now we are not going to talk about Sampa. Who hasn't spoken? I think we all spoke on this. Sampa's presser. It's that's water under the bridge. We've been on for 3 hours and 9 minutes. We need to be getting ready and talking our runs for this week. Who wants to go first? Usually Wakazia starts, but Mr. Mami wants to start first today.
No. Today I don't want to start first.
Wakazia, start your run.
Let's be done first, let's be done first. But then start your run.
Okay. I just want to thank my government for what it's doing. I'm very proud to be Zambian right now because of what's happening in my country. This is from deep down my heart. I talked to my sister this morning. She's very hopeful that the drought has really devastated our country, but our leaders, so to speak, they are doing everything possible to make sure that our people don't suffer as much. All right. So this is exactly what I am very proud of my leadership. That's all I can say.
Perfect. Dr. Mbulo, what's your rant? What's on your heart that you want to share with the rest of our viewers today? It can be about anything.
Okay, yeah, I just want to pick up on the food for work thing. So this sort of triggers the memories to which part was that? MMD. So MMD did this food for work thing, and I think Mr. Kazi has a good point. Some of these programs, on the surface, they look very good, but there are challenges to it. I don't know how far UPND has thought about it because, these are short term. Is it sustainable? Where is that money coming from? What happens after that? Is there some level of accountability? And we still make these same mistakes. It's the same with the CDF. CDF wants to do things which the council can do. CDF funds wants to do things which the Ministry of Education does. So can we use the existing structures? So we talked about this food for work, cleaning drainages and all that. In Rwanda, people are doing that not because they have to be paid, but Kagame has asked people, they've set aside a day where they just clean up their place, clean up their drainages, clean up all these. We don't have to pay for some of these things. But of course, we have to think through. It's not the first time that there's been drought in Zambia. It's not the first time we have seen floods in Zambia. Do we have a system to mitigate and manage these emergencies, disasters? That's why, even like when COVID came, we're so much in a disastrous stress because we never think of emergencies. Even the power outage is an emergency. Do we really put in place measures? So we have to be more think ahead in terms of what we do with emergencies. In the US, they do all these drills, even where you have no tornado, they drill you how to react when there's a tornado. So we need to think like that as well in future. In case of this emergency, what do? We just make adjustment. Can we use national service? Can we use the police? Can we use the army in case of these emergencies? Rather than, let's come up, you go and give the headman, is the bags of meal, give your people and then they do food for work. Where's the accountability? Okay, I end there. Thank you.
All right.
Is it my time?
Your time.
No. It's not your time.
I haven't done the rant.
You want to do it? Let's go. Let Chanda go. Okay, start.
So my rant is very simple. I want to see that the government right now, the UPND government, must start applying the law very effectively. You can't have one person insult the head of state and they arrest him, and another person seated another person and insults the other head of state, and is free on the street and is enjoying his freedom. We can't have that kind of double standards. The double standards about application of the law must just finish. I think UPND can do better. There is this guy who just insults Edgar Lungu to the core, like a person who is afraid. Yet this is a guy who is like 20 years old. And he actually brags about the UPND. And no one has come out to disassociate itself with that level of profanity. It's a high time that the UPND government lived to its, rule of law. When you look at the manifesto, they are applying the law equitably. We can't have that. That needs to just be camped on.
Is Edgar Lungu head of state?
Where he was, whether he's head of state or not, he was former head of state. But we cannot have someone in South.
Okay. I not the word former. I not the word former.
Yeah. Because anyone who is current will be former in another day. And I don't want to see that because when he was in power, no one was insulting. When he leaves power, we started to do that. It's something we should never do as a community and a society. There's no way to accept these children to insult people that are supposed to be their grandfathers. You want to do those insults, really bad insults. Insulting even the mother of the president. For me, I frown upon it, and I want to do something about it.
We are together there.
And not to just do it. That is not right.
Right, Mr. Mon.
Yes. I was just doing my calculations here. 2024. No, Shiralanda. 2024 this year. Then there was 1964. The difference is the 60 years of independence. We've been independent to do our own mistakes. That's why we gained independence, so that we could make our own mistakes. But out of our own mistakes, I want to rant it in this way. We've done something that we could have done in 60 years' time. We cannot do our best. Now, as the 60 years approaches of independence, may the leaders join as one. That's my rant, number 2. Then there is this day of Christian day of prayer, national whatever fasting.
National prayer.
May this day not be politicized. May this day not be. I implore on all the politicians. Let them not. If the arrangements to be done, let them start now. Let the arrangements start now, so that someone should not say he was not invited or he was invited at the last minute.
And someone should have congregation of sinners.
We want a situation whereby he is there. The former is there. The current is there. All the former vice presidents. We want to see this unity, National Day of Prayer and Unity, October 18th. Very soon it will come if arrangements can start early. But andamwewa wako mkutuma wewa kwa abanenuko ku left huko nala wewa nabali ku right batambe kubombera pamo so that this thing can come.
Call Lungu, talk to Lungu, Chanda.
And go HH and talk to him that we don't want those young people shouting Lungu.
That day of national whatever should be cancelled.
Call him as well. Call him. Tell him that.
What's your rant?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's so many things.
That's my rant. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you very much. Amacha. Look, Iria Shili. I think the elephant in the room is that Abantu, especially our opposition, they're not happy that the president is making strides in correcting many things. This is my rant.
I'm clapping for your right.
So the opposition, they are not really happy, especially trip ya China. Na chwa kalipa sana.
Oh, wemwe.
So After that trip, twatambazya abantu batambuka. Certain people from there, kuri abantu abako bati balabatuma. Nabaite bambi balabatuma tabyeni katenisi, do this ABCD. Iliya sheria kutukana, yes, me I would say no, I don't agree to that or subscribe to it. And everybody who's involved in that, they're on their own. Just like we always say, Nakuyamba youth, UCND, Harvey Station, and kind of violence, they're on their own. So we don't condone that. It's clear and it's always been there. But for the fact that, we have a leader that is now going to start delivering what he promised the Zambian people. Despite abantu bariko attached to 3 years, which is very impossible. Tell us, tell us. Even if it took him 7 days, So nganga yeshe nani. So mulikuwa mupere 3 years. Muntu ulionse bapera matems 5 years, 10 years. So after 10 years, let's sit down and go back and start thinking. Mama. So we cannot condemn or blame or whatever drought issues and all those things. So me, in a nutshell, what I can say is that we're in the right trajectory. We got the right leader, and we got the right team, and of course, we are taking advantage of China in the right way, not in a corrupt way. Because China, even if it's a country, and they're just investors. They'll treat you the way you want to treat them, and they'll respond to the way you respond to them. If you want to be a corrupt government, they will come in with corrupt minds. But if you're saying us we don't tolerate corruption, we want results, that's how they'll come. Because at the end of the day, they've got a business to run, and us, we have a country to run. So we meet halfway. Let's do our JVs. Let's invest together. Let's do mapping. Abantu say, why is Zambia spending our opposition? Why is Zambia spending so much money in mapping the country? The country was mapped 60 years ago. You've just said the country was mapped 60 years ago. What technology was there 60 years ago? Are you telling me the technology that is there today is equivalent to the technology that was 60 years ago? Are you serious? As a politician, there's no need of us paying the money. The country is already mapped. We don't need the money. We don't need to map it again. Like, really? A serious politician in the 21st century? For Ingalalande, for sure.
Yes.
No ways. You need to think ahead. We need to be thinking in the next coming 50 years. And the only way we're going to move there is to do what the current government is doing. We're going to map it out with the latest technology, and we're going to know where each and every mineral is. Not the those little machines, you can even buy them online. It will detect, oh, there's something here. That's the way it was mapped. There was no satellite or aerial technology at that time, believe it or not. But now imagine if we use the latest technology. Now we even know the kind of deposits, the quality, and the quantity, and the depth. Okay? And we're able to sit down with that information. How my investors China and Gawai? No, yes, yeah, we got this. If you want, we can take you where this mineral is. If this is a mineral interested in, this is how much the deposit is. This is how much the composition is. This is what, and you have that leverage now to negotiate.
Amasampo imo.
Tamufwayo kumufwa ebintu ebisumba.
Muliba amasampo imo.
Tamufwaya.
In conclusion.
Napwisha ine bane. Nalanda epomperere.
North London forever. Whatever the weather. These streets are on.
Well, Kalinda, I was following you last night, by the way. I was following you.
You were?
You were enjoying. We saw you.
Anyway, my rant was a song, and Evram Grant must be
You know that you're a good singer.
Huh?
You're a good singer.
He was. He's from Livingstone. What do you expect?
From Grant must be fired
No way.
today. Kamanga must go like yesterday.
No
We
way.
cannot have Zambia lose to a Papa. Oh my God. We need some kind of entertainment. And the only entertainment we have as Zambians is in our football. Avram Grant must go. Kamanga and all his people must pack the back.
I agree.
Mulekeni shukuru bantu na kawo
And
honi.
on that note,
I think maybe the players should go also because Waoneka Kwatiswa Nadia and Nsima, they can't run.
Was playing and that guy who plays in Italy, what's his name? The Banda?
Lamek Band.
Lamek Banda was the only player on the pitch. Everyone else was looking disorganized.
It's a coach.
It was a horrible game.
It was horror. I mean, how do you concede 2 goals in the second half? Like within 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And the other chap was limping from the God.
And you know that Ivory Coast, we have a very good record against that team.
Yes, we do.
We never the way we tried.
Yes.
I was very upset. But
the coach was just sitting there very passively writing notes. I don't know what notes he was using them for, but he wasn't even watching the game. He was just
winning the next one, don't worry.
Winning, we are not winning. In fact, I'm praying that we don't even go to the Africa because there's no need for government to spend money on those caps to embarrass us like that.
Inoposapotera fyabana kachapwa nalire kakale naleka inokusapotera bawe kusapotera fyabana kachapwa and na kocha wakaye nawe in that was
Bruce
used to be at the farm. He used to be at the farm. Establish go to Maluva. Because I mean the world is like, why are we keeping old people? You know, that's some government chimochi. Wazango muntu alikotama ideas yali.
Ba ambassador wesu. Kuno kuine ku Canada 8 years fish mulera ndapo.
Yeah.
Bale again mfule mwabeshi bamuli ba muchipani mfule.
In the government.
All right. Thank you, viewers. Until next week, keep the faith. Keep the faith.